Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with USBC Communications and Bowl TV. And folks, this is it. Today's the day. We're going to get down to our top five for tomorrow's FS1 finals taking place at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 local time in Reno. We got plenty of storylines brewing up here. Obviously, the big one from yesterday, a new leader after 4 consecutive rounds of Jacob Buttriff leading. He has finally been unseated at this event, sitting just 4 pins back, so certainly not out of the mix. But Christian Azcona, a monster block yesterday in match play, going 6-2 to vault into the top spot in the standings. We're going to start with him today once we get to the lanes. We'll bring in the Bowl TV crew in just a moment, but you are getting ready to watch the second 8-game match play round-robin round. So it's going to be coming up next around the same 42-foot pattern these players saw for 16 games yesterday. They're going to have it for 16 games again today. Our late squad going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 local time. So this is when it really starts to shape up. Players still have a lot of time to make up ground, but They need to start putting up some strikes now. So we're going to go ahead, go to the lanes. We're going to talk about the scenarios, look at the top 5, look at the players outside the number as well. But first, let's take it to our tournament leader, Christian Azcona, who's going to be taking on A.J. Johnson first and foremost here over on lanes 53 and 54. A.J. a little bit farther back in the standings, currently in 23rd. Had a rough day in match play yesterday, 0-8. And is at plus 562. But Azcona really set the pace early after 190 out of the gates, made some adjustments. His next 3 games, 278, 268, 298. For folks keeping score at home, that is an 8-44 stretch for 3 games. He added a couple additional big performances to get to 12-62 when it was all said and done. Jacob Buttriff at plus 1258. So once again, just 4 pins separating first and second place. Jason Sterner won his first 6 matches yesterday on his way to move into 3rd place. He's at 1208. So within 60 of the lead. Michael Davidson, who's just had a phenomenal tournament so far, sits in 4th place, plus 1139. And then Bill O'Neill currently holds the last spot in the top 5, plus 1101. The players on the outside looking in to start with 16 games left to go. Matt Sanders, just 8 pins back, plus 1093. Anthony Nair, plus 1086. Sam Cooley, plus 1036. Mitch Hupe, plus 1028. Chris Fye, plus 1022. Zeke Bate plus 1020. Those are all the players within 100 pins of the cut heading into this round. A bit of a drop-off after that. In 12th place, Tim Foy Jr. plus 915. Tommy Jones plus 904. And then our defending champion, Jason Belmonte, in 14th place plus 898, 203 pins back. It looks like the gang is all here. So as we settle in, let's bring in the Bowl TV crew. Kick off things remotely here in Texas. Joining me from DFW, Matt Cannizzaro. There's Matt. Hey, Matt.
What's up, Mr. Smith? How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm ready. 16 games left to go before our top 5, and we get to hand it over to Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, and Rob Stone. But it's been fun. I know you got the opportunity to talk to Christian for a little bit last night. And from reading your story on Bowl.com, this isn't necessarily just about him. The opportunity to bring some more recognition to his home country of Puerto Rico in the mix as well.
Yes, definitely. As we have talked about in previous stories covering Puerto Rico and the World Championships, the Pan Am Games, different events, things haven't been awesome there with some weather and some hurricanes and things over the last couple of years. And just bowling in general is tough. That's why Christian made it a point, an effort to succeed, to do what he could there, and then get to the United States to bowl in college, and then to bowl on the PBA Tour to represent Puerto Rico, which he does internationally at many events. But it certainly means a lot as he's representing not just himself, but the entire island and the future of the sport in Puerto Rico, showing them that it's possible to have the dreams and chase the dreams and then do awesome things, which is what he did last night after a slow start. Figure things out, got going, and now he's your leader here at the U.S. Open.
Good stuff there, Matthew. And as we continue on, let's head to Reno. Going to bring in Jason Thomas and Mike Flanagan as well. So there's JT. Hi, JT.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We are doing well. And then Michael Flanagan from Bowl TV Studio West. Hello, Michael.
Hello. This morning, I think what I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit is 3 different types of players, right? And it's like that in every event. So I'm stating the obvious, but you've got a youth movement in the top 24, right? We all know we got the youth movement, and it starts with Anthony Nair. I circled Michael Davidson, even Christian. I have classified in that youth up and coming. Even Zach Tackett, Tim Foy, Mitch Hupay, Chris Vi, even though he's made so many major shows, Zeke Bate, Nick Pate, Perry Crowell, Packy, AJ, even almost. And then there's this middle category. Brent Boho also in that youth movement. The middle category are these guys that have been out here that bowl full-time, got a few years under their belt. And then you've got the Hall of Famers is the other category that I'm looking at. These Hall of Fame careers are Hall of Fame eligible players. And typically in a major, in a long format, in head-to-head match play, it's the Hall of Famers that for whatever reason, when they need it, they make moves in the standings. And it starts here this morning. And we saw Bill O'Neill jump up to 5th yesterday. And that's what I'm talking about. I saw a story on Belmo this morning. 200 pins out, but thinks he can get to the lead. Chris Barnes. Those are the guys I'm looking at. Those 3 players to see if those 3 can make a run inside the number. Bill's already there. Can Barnes and Belmo get there? That's what I'm looking at today, and looking forward to seeing what happens.
It's kind of weird. You mentioned Belmo. He's kind of been as impossible as it seems. He's been under the radar this entire event. He's been hanging around the top 15 each round. He now hasn't pulled himself out of contention. He's been in the mix, as you mentioned, about 200 pins back to start today. But it seems like he's been just very, very quiet, very modest throughout this whole thing so far. And he's the defending champion. Obviously, the Super Slam implications of becoming the first player to win it twice if he's able to do so. But it's just been a very unassuming, quiet event so far for Belmo. We had all the additional drama, I guess, during the Masters. First with the run toward the cut line, and then obviously the Tim Foy match. And all that. It's just been such a different. It's been a 180 this week, where you have to check every once in a while to make sure he's still there.
Yeah, and before JT comes on and mentions the obvious miss there, and I did have it written down here, is Tommy Jones. That's the other Hall of Famer that in this list here that also will be fun to watch. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we're coming down to the last 2 games later on tonight here on Bowl TV, and Tommy Jones, Chris Barnes, Jason Belmonte, Bill O'Neill are all trying to make the show, and there's like four for 3, or maybe 2 are already on. Nothing against the youth, nothing against the seasoned vets here that are getting their feet wet and have a couple titles under their belt. But those are the guys I'm looking at, and I guess a 1A off of those guys that is Jesper and Jacob, right? The 2 best lefties on tour, and I'm going to go ahead and just say that, in first and in second now, Jacob Buttriff and Jesper Svensson down in 20th. How's he going to bowl today? So those are the 2 guys also.
Yeah, Aaron, I came into the building this morning, and one of the gentlemen who's been helping out all week, he actually called me the Swami and said, "Well, Swami, who's going to win this tournament?" And I said, "Sir, I have no idea who's going to win this tournament. I know I've said a lot of things on the air the last 2 weeks and made a lot of predictions, and some of them have even come true. I have no clue who's going to win. It's completely up in the air after yesterday. I think a lot of folks assumed we'd have 4 lefties on the show. We might have 0 lefties on the show. Jacob's going to have to hang on for dear life to make this show. We could have 2 lefties on the show. Matt Sanders and Anthony Nye are just right there. Belmo could make the show. I wouldn't bet on him, but he could. I think Christian Azcona had a fantastic strategy all week long, and especially yesterday. He was really the only guy that figured out, hey, I can throw urethane. Some pairs, it hooks off the gutter. Some pairs don't. If it doesn't, I just move my eyes in a little bit left and keep it tight, shoot my 230 and move on to the next pair. If the gutter hooks, I shoot 270. And I just think that's a fantastic strategy. But you know what? He said he's not thinking about it, but this is the final day of the U.S. Open, and all of that's out the window. Great strategies go by the wayside when you can't execute because of the pressure. So I really don't know what's going to happen. If I had to pick 3 that would make the show, it would probably be Jacob, Christian, and Sterner. And they're the top 3 right now, which isn't much of a prediction. But based on their strategies, I think they have the best chance. But I think there's going to be a lot of guys taking a lot of chances. Belmo last night told Lucas Wiseman, I'm not going to use any ball that I used all day tomorrow. He's just going to completely come out with a different strategy, and whatever happens. And that also could play a lot of havoc with how the lanes break down, because players are going to be taking chances and trying things that they didn't try yesterday. So I really don't know what's going to happen. You're just going to have to watch all 16 games today here on Bull TV to find out.
Yeah, JT, you make those predictions, right? You talk about the top 3, and it's not much of a prediction. I got 2 guys that I think are a lock for the show, based off of talking to their ball reps yesterday and that. Bill O'Neill is going to stay in a purple hammer the entire block, and we saw yesterday after 8 games he can just stay in that ball, right? And same can be said for Jason Sterner. So those are kind of a wash there. I get that, right? So I think Bill O'Neill's a lock for the show. The other guy that I think is a lock for the show is Chris Vi. And the reason for that is because he's got look with urethane and reactive resin, and he's proven to be able to put up the big numbers on this pattern. And I know that his ball reps yesterday was a bit of a tester for them on when to go to resin, when to go to urethane, and today in this squad and the next squad, they are not going to make a mistake. They are going to go to the correct ball when they need to go to the correct ball, and he's got an equally good look with both. So that's why I think those 2, with their equipment matchups, are locks for the show.
Gentlemen, as we get to the backstretch here, game number 1, in discussing these same topics, we all got tweeted at very early in the morning by someone named Eric at Frostjob. I don't know what that means, but had some questions. So I figured instead of replying on Twitter, let's bring him here to Bull TV and see some thoughts. Eric asks, A, can someone make up 200 pins with this scoring pace?
Yes. Next question.
8 guys bowling for 5 spots.
Let me expand on that last question. The answer is yes, even up until 8 games are left.
Agreed.
So you could make up 200 pins, probably 250 pins. You can usually make up the number of pins that are available in bonus pins. That's about as much as you can make up in 8 games.
The next question was 8 spots or 8 guys bowling for 5 spots. So going back to Sam Khalid, so that's similar situation. We're talking more than 200 back. So essentially, we're saying up to 14 guys in the mix right now, looking at 200 back, probably even a few more with a big day. Final question: could someone like Barnes still get there, or is it too far behind? Barnes, 237 back to start the day.
No, he's not too far behind. Like I said, if you're within 250 with 8 to go, you still have a chance. So anybody within that 250 number, and right now that really is, basically if you can make up 250 today in the morning, that gets you there. So there's still 22 guys that have a shot to make this show.
There we go. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Eric, for the tweet. As we kick off today. Butters can get to 259 here. Max for Belmo, 257. So double 9 to kick off the day with a victory for Buttriff, and potentially likely going to move back into the lead. As Kona, nothing too crazy this opening game. We get to 214. Probably not going to win the match. So with just a 4-pin difference.
Well, a trend is your friend, and I'm looking at the scores from yesterday, and Christian Ascona bowled 190 in the first game and lost.
That he did.
But then went on to rattle off 278, 268, 298, 237, 248, 258. And then 225 the last game.
Got some insight on that first game for Kristen yesterday. He said that he was attacking the lanes the same way he had in the Cashers round, and it simply didn't work. The lanes were just tighter, so hooking far less, and he didn't realize it soon enough. And all it really meant was adjusting his speed, slowing things down quite a bit, which was crucial for him. Speed control, absolutely the key to his success yesterday. But that first game, just the realization of what was happening, that the pattern was the same, but it was playing so much different. That's all it took. And once he was able to slow things down and really focus on making those shots and staying aggressive, obviously shooting 844 for his next 3 games shows that that he's got a handle on it.
And I'll tell you another guy that we should look out for that nobody said anything about in our little predictions was Sam Cooley. And he's got spare 8-bagger, throwing urethane, doing what Christian did yesterday. He could do that all day if he wants to. He has that in his bag of tricks. He could slow hook urethane. And really, I mean, the thing that impressed me about Christian was that his strategy is so simple. It's just, all right, I go to the next pair. If the gutter hooks, I just bomb them and throw it to the gutter, and the ball goes through the pins perfectly. If it doesn't hook, I just move my eyes in a little bit and shoot 230. It's just such a simple strategy, and you don't have to worry about when to change to reactive and when to go back to urethane. And that's when you get into trouble here, is when you complicate things. And his strategy is so simple, but again, he's leading the U.S. Open going into the last day. And yeah, he's going to shoot a low game here just like he did yesterday. But yesterday he wasn't leading the U.S. Open going into the last day. So let's see how he bounces back. Sam is showing that what Christian had yesterday is still here. He just threw another strike in the 10th, so one more for 290, and he's jumped right back into the mix. But it's still there. It's just a matter of execution.
Lower 710 for Belmo. It's going to give him 223 and a loss. So Jacob's going to get this win to kick things off today. Add a quick 78 on top of his plus total. Belmo an opportunity to sneak away with that one, get into the 250s, start the day the right way.
You could also take a guy like Perry Corral yesterday who had, 2 completely different 4-game sets. He bowled 230, 300, 245, 225. And then those last 4, 174, 224, 189, 179. That's probably the biggest feast or famine I see in the entire standings here in yesterday's 8 games. And Perry continuing how he started out his block yesterday. He's working on 258 in a win over Jason Sterner, 225 posted on the board. Cooley finishes with 290. And A.J. Johnson's throwing possible 260 at Christian here in this first game.
Cooley did wrap up the 290 against Thomas Larson.
Aaron, you want to take us over to Christian? Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. Packy 279 out of the gates. Tommy Jones, Hall of Famer, 278 out of the gates as well.
You know, the time difference, too, of bowling makes a difference for some players. Less for the Hall of Famers, more for the younger players. The Hall of Famers tend to like to bowl in the morning.
Why do you think that is, Michael?
I think because they're just used to it. And as you see, Christian with a mental error leading the U.S. Open coming in this morning and misses a 10-pin in the 10th frame for 181. AJ Johnson coming in today, 539 pins off the show and went 0-8 in match play yesterday. It doesn't get any worse than that. Could he go 8-0 this morning?
Oh.
Aaron Smith, let's think about this.
Let's go, Mike. Let's go.
Let's just try to run the math. Is AJ Johnson, is there no way he's going to make the show? Right? Let's think about it. I mean, is it possible for him to make the show in 23rd position, 539 pins out? He's 220 out of 22nd.
That is correct.
So you would think, no, there's no way AJ Johnson could make the show. It's just impossible, right? So let's just pretend AJ Johnson averages 250 this block. So that's 400 over. Let's say he goes 8-0.
It's 240 bonus pins.
Yeah, so 640 and add that to 562. So
It's
he's
12.
he's 562 over total, right? Coming into today for all these games. And he's got a chance with bonus to double his score if he averages 250.
That'll put him around 1,200. We probably need some help along the way, though, too.
Oh, absolutely.
When you look at top 11 are already all plus 1,000 and change. Got Perry and Jesper getting ready to step up here. Mike, surveying the landscape. Any primetime matchups here?
Yes. Do we have 39 and 40?
We do.
Yeah, let's go there. Belmo, O'Neill, roommates.
Roommate battle. Let's go.
I've been here almost 2 weeks, and I'm asking you if we have pairs. And you're in Texas, and I'm at the stadium, and I can see the cameras. I'm just throwing that out there.
That explains it. We've been at this for 2 weeks. We're seeing things funny. Up is down. Cats and dogs living together in harmony.
You guys remember too that at the Masters, it was Belmo who eliminated O'Neill from competition. So no doubt they're the best of friends and roommates and travel buddies, and I'm sure there's a little bit of a friendly rivalry perhaps, and maybe some redemption here for Bill O'Neill.
Matthew, you took the words right out of my mouth. Belmo owned O'Neill there for a while. I don't know if you remember, they had a slap bet and a few other goofy things that they did. And Belmo just absolutely mopped the floor of Bill O'Neill. But then a couple years ago, things changed. And, you know, O'Neill's got the best of him on TV recently. That Hall of Fame Classic I remember from 2 years ago. A nice first game. AJ Johnson, who I was talking about and trying to create a scenario that he could make the show, being 560 pins out after bowling that big first game. He just looked up here at me and wanted to talk to me for a minute. So I took my headset off, and he says he feels really good this morning. And he's got a completely different demeanor and attitude about himself. It's almost like, what do I got to lose? I'm just going to go out and have fun today and see if I can catch 22nd, being in 23rd position. Because as I mentioned, you know, he's over 200 pins out of 22nd position after going 0-8 last night. But 1-0 this morning.
Mike, I don't know if you're a tennis fan. You like tennis?
Yeah, I enjoy some tennis.
I remember a few years back, Boris Becker was asked about the fifth set of a match at Wimbledon. And he said, the fifth set at Wimbledon, it's no longer about tennis. It's about your will to win. And that's what we're going to see today. It's less about ball reaction, and it's more about your will to want to win the U.S. Open, the most coveted title on the PBA Tour. It's the event that's the hardest to win. If you put up the names of the past winners, it's a who's who of the greats of the sport. And today is going to be about something other than bowling. It's about survival and who can perform when the pressure's at its highest.
Which is exactly why I like the Hall of Famers today. One other thing I don't think we've really talked about too much here, but I've heard the ball reps and the players talk about 39 and 40, 41 and 42, and even 43 and 44, that those three pairs, I've heard the term brutal, not necessarily on this pattern, but earlier in the week, that those pairs were brutal and that they were lower scoring pairs of lanes. And it's only 3 frames in, but we're kind of seeing this here out of Bill O'Neill. Tough to carry on 39 and 40.
Yeah, it's interesting. These players, these modern day players, they see a few flat tens and they want to immediately, make a ball change or just, give up on that particular idea. And the problem is, even though the scores are high,
Bill picks the 210, by the way, just like it's nothing.
Yeah, he's pretty good, that Bill O'Neill. But yeah, I mean, if you start fishing around to make something work a little better, you start to bring 170s and 180s in play, and with the scoring pace being what it is, that shoots you out of the tournament real quick. You really do have to kind of commit to it if you want to make a run today, especially if you're one of those players that are, a couple hundred pins back. You've really got to commit to a strategy and try to find a way to make it work. If you're fishing and cycling through balls, you're not going to make it. And I really think if Belmo commits to this urethane, and I think yesterday he was just throwing it a little bit too hard, and I don't know if he ever got to the point where he was just comfortable with softening his ball speed, which he can absolutely do, and just hit it harder. I mean, he's one of the best at that, not only with urethane, but with reactive. And I feel like if he commits to that today, he could make a run.
Guys, we do have a scoring update over on bull.com. Jacob Buttroff, as we announced, is your new leader at plus 1336. Christian Azcona now at plus 1243 in second. Jason Sterner at plus 1233 in third. Michael Davidson still hanging around at plus 1166 in fourth. Rounding out your top five is Sam Cooley at plus 1156. 37 back of Cooley is Anthony Nyer. 49 back of Cooley is Bill O'Neill. 58 back of Cooley is Matthew Sanders. 69 back is Zeke Bate in ninth. And 10th is Mitch Hupay. He is 73 back of the number. Everybody else is 100 or more back, including Jason Belmonte, who's 235 back. Tommy Jones jumps up to 12th, who's 144 back now. All those scores and more are available over on bull.com. So Belmo throwing a game here at Bill O'Neill.
Yeah, one other thing about Belmo is, it's been pretty well documented that he's, ready to go home, and he's had a long extended trip here, and he's tired, but he has used being away from home as a motivator for his whole career. And I'll bet you he told himself today, hey, let's just suck it up for one last day here and make it worthwhile being over here. And I'll tell you, he's made all the money, you can make. He's doing just fine financially. This event means more to him than any other event, because this would allow him to accomplish something, if he were to win this week, that nobody in the history of the sport has ever done, which is win all of the majors twice each. And I'll tell you, when he walked in the door this morning, it was all business. He was like a tank, just walking straight to his square, getting his equipment ready. I mean, he was ready. So Belmo stepping up in the 6th frame with the front 5. A couple other players off to a quick start this game as well. Chris Barnes also has the front 5. Perry Crowell started with the front 6 before an open frame in the 7th. And Tim Foy, possible 279 after a 5-bagger, 9-spare strike.
Here on Bowl TV, we do have an interactive community. We do have our chat open. I see you guys in here. I was just catching up on that, reading through some of these things. Kevin thinks that the top 5 for the show in no certain order will be Buttriff, Belmonte, O'Neill, Tommy Jones, and Chris Barnes. So he likes the Hall of Famers as well.
Oh, here comes Belmo. Bumps the 7 out, or bumps the 10 out for 7 in a row. Just calmly walking back and sitting in his chair.
Again, Belmo in 15th. 235 pins off the show. Bowled 223 his first game and lost.
And had a chance to win that game, but left the blower 7-10. First shot in the 10th.
Speaking of blower 7-10s, after I set up AJ Johnson for this potential to go 8-0 and average 250 and have a mathematical chance to make the show after 8 games today. In game number 2, he's bowling Sam Cooley, and neither player are bowling a big score, but I just watched him blower 7-10, and it's the second one that he's left on lanes 47 and 48 here at the National Bowling Stadium. You know, looking at Bill here, he's got this huge number from Belmo, you know, coming at him, which has happened so many times in his career that he can't even think straight. But, you know, Bill still needs to put up a nice number here and move that plus 1107 north.
Yeah, that's a great point. When you're out of a match, you know, your goal is really to save as many pins as you can. And Bill knows that more than anybody. And he bared down those last 2 shots for a double and can still put up a decent score here. But Belmo looking for the front 8. Ten back, and he just drops the football in the end zone and walks back to the sideline.
Yeah, and he's using urethane. You know, he's been back and forth, like you said in the Lucas Wiseman interview. Says he's gonna use all different bowling balls. I don't know, you know, if his ball reps got a hold of him, and you know, you can only check in 10 balls for this event, so it's not like he can go to the truck or drill another ball or do different things. So. Back in the urethane ball. That's working.
Does he have one more? That one's in a little. Oh, man. Good shot. Just got it in a touch. And, you know, that's what happens with urethane. You just get it in a little bit with the speed that he's throwing it, and it's going to ring a 10.
Chris Barnes, front 7. He's down on 67 and 68.
Let's switch here for a sec, and then we'll get a look over at Chris Barnes. Follow him as he's trying to shoot 300 here in game number 2 of the day. Chris came in this morning and he said, "Hey, what do you think here? What do I need to try?" And I said, "How about coffee?" And he said, "Okay, I'll take a caramel macchiato." So I walked over to Starbucks, and I was already going. It's not like I'm Chris Barnes' personal assistant, but
that was a nice cover there. That was a good one.
But I did buy him a coffee, and he did miss in the 8th, so we will not be going over to his pair, but he still has a possible 279 this game, which will help his cause, give him a little hope.
Anthony Nyer is going to get the win over Zeke Bate. Nyer with 238 posted up on the board. Zeke Bate can bowl 228. Jacob Buttriff's gonna get a sneaky win here in 30 bonus, only bowling 208 over Mitch Hupe, who the best he can bowl is 181.
Yeah, those are huge. You certainly need those breaks to make the shows here at the U.S. Open.
Jason Sterner getting it going here in game number 2. He's got a 4-bagger going into the 10th frame. He's cruising. He's going to get the win. He's got a possible 256 left up on the board over Brent Boho. We were just watching Perry Krell bowl 254 and get the win over Jesper Svensson, 212 for Svensson. Remember, if you weren't watching yesterday, Svensson is battling a bit of a hand injury. Not only does he have a cut on one of his fingers, his middle finger, but his ring finger's got a tear and is experiencing some pain. It's black and blue.
And Christian Ascona bounced back after that opening 181, where he missed a 10-pin in the 10th frame. And he'll possibly be in the 240s with 2 more strikes in the 10th, and he'll get the win over Thomas Larson. So he'll pick up some ground on Jacob Buttriff.
And A.J. Johnson just can't buy a break. I mean, he just was barely high on the pocket and leaves the 4-6. And I know that sounds crazy to think, but he just cannot buy a break on 47 and 48 bowling against Sam Cooley. Best A.J. Johnson can bowl is 159, and he's bowled a much better game than that, I can tell you. And I'm reporting on that match because it is literally right in front of where we sit. So Bill O'Neill posts 214 up on the board. Belmo can still bowl 279 with 30 bonus pins. That'll give him plus 109. Move him a little bit closer to 5th. Okay, so he leaves a 4-pin, a little bit high. So in this game, Belmo leaves a wrap 10 in the 9th and a 4-pin in the 10th. Everything else was perfect. 269 if he spares it up. Plus 99 on the board for Belmo. Chris Barnes can still bowl 268. Nick Pate posted 195, so Barnes is going to get the win, an opportunity to add 98 pens to his total. It was Matt Sanders 234 to 223 over Sean Lavery's bar down on lanes 65 and 66. Over on 63 and 64, we had a nail biter. Both players striking out in the 10th frame. Chris Vi 226 over Packy Hanrahan 225. Tim Foy Jr. 239 over Tommy Jones 226. As Jason reported, Christian Ascona getting back on the board, getting things going 248. We'll get the win over Thomas Larson, who can still bowl 205. Again, we saw Perry Crowell right here bowl 264 against Jesper Svensson. Sterner ended up with 243 over Boho's 164. And Sam Cooley can strike out for 205 against A.J. Johnson, who can bowl 159. They're both up in the 10th frame now. While we're waiting for game number 3 to come up, this is a great opportunity to talk about what we have coming up here on Bowl TV. The 2021 PWBA season will resume here just the weekend after next. It's coming up soon, everybody. April 22nd through the 24th is the Twin Cities Open. And then action continues the next weekend in Lincoln for the Lincoln Open. The following weekend, 3 weeks in a row, Greater Cleveland Open, then right back here at the National Bowling Stadium for the Queens. Your next 4 events right here on Bowl TV. And if you are a monthly subscriber or just you got the pass for the U.S. Open, or you're watching on a simulcast and you'd like to be part of everything we're doing here at Bowl TV, we do have a promo for you. It runs through the end of today. Today is the last day to take advantage of this promo. $49.95 gets you an entire year of Bowl TV, which offers so many different events right here on Bowl TV. We hope you join us for the rest of the events for the entire next year. We promise we'll do the best job we can for you if you just give us a chance. Bowl TV.
Did you see what my score was? 148.
149. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption on the promo there. AJ Johnson asked me what his score was, which is a little bizarre, but we got it to him thanks to live scoring, which is also available over on bowl.com. Look like we're picking up game number 3 here. Anthony Nyer and Mitch Houpe. As we get reset here in this game number 3 from the National Bowling Stadium. We're glad you're with us here for continuing coverage of the 2021 U.S. Open. We saw 8 games of match play yesterday. We're in our second round of 8 right now, and then we'll be back again at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for our final round of round-robin match play. Not going to want to miss that. And then tomorrow, don't forget to mark your calendars. 11 a.m. Pacific. Live TV finals on FS1 with Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Kimberly Pressler, and the entire crew in conjunction with the PBA, our great partners here, helping us put on the television show. Aaron Smith, you back?
I'm back. Ready for game 3.
You know who else is ready for game number 3?
Who's that?
I think we've got ourselves a guest coming in. He's someone that I've looked up to for years. He's a national scholar, arguably the most knowledgeable person in bowling, devastatingly handsome, and a friend of Bowl TV. He's got some podcasting experience, and we have never had a beverage together, whether it be an Aquafina, a carbonated beverage, or maybe even an adult beverage. But let's bring him in now. We'd like to welcome on Tony Franklin.
Hey, Tony.
I would disagree with some of those points, but I think you're right on almost all accounts. Thanks, Mike. Because I am like 6'7", so you have to look up to me, which I totally appreciate. And thank you for the Aquafina shout out. PepsiCo certainly appreciates that. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you. Good to see you guys. I mean, I've seen you every single day for it feels like 3 months straight now in some form or fashion, but it's good to see you and actually talk to you at the same time.
Couldn't agree more, Tony.
How's everybody holding up? Is anybody tired, or is the energy level just so high because of the competition?
We're actually just sad because it's going to end soon. That's really what it is.
That's right. What are you going to do with your time?
Well, we got a little thing called PWBA coming up.
Yes.
Just a little week. If Mike did the promo, be sure to get it. Today's the last day. That goes away after today. So be sure to get that before the end of the day if you haven't already. But Tony, what have been your impressions of this whole tournament? It's been one of the wildest U.S. Opens I've ever seen. I just want to get your impression and thoughts of what you've thought of it as the weeks unfolded.
Yeah, I've certainly enjoyed it. I've watched a ton of the action on Bull TV. Jeannie and I both have spent every evening watching it. There have been times where I just wanted to go to sleep and she would not turn it off. So clearly it's captivating. I love the action. And here's the one thing, and I know we've talked about this, Jason, several times. I do like the strikes. There has been lots of chatter on the line from other pro bowlers who maybe just don't understand why there has to be a game every shot at a U.S. Open higher than a 200. Of course, I disagree. As a fan, I want to see some action. So for this week, I've really enjoyed it. I like the pattern differences. It gives everyone a chance to get out there and make it up if they didn't have the block they wanted on something that was tougher. And we sure saw that the other night in the race for the last 36 spots.
Yeah, it's been so fun, well, it's been fun on site, because bowlers tend to be they are very much in the moment, and so whatever just happened is what's going to happen into the future. And every single day the tenor of the event has changed based on the pattern that we've seen. And I told the story this morning. One of our crew here on site asked me who I thought was going to win, and I said, buddy, I have no idea. We're just going to have to wait and see. It could be any number of guys. It could be the 21st place guy. I have no idea what's going to happen today.
Yeah, I think that's the cool part about it is we've got so many new names in the top 24, and maybe not as new, but certainly not a registered PBA champion. I mean, you've got Belmo, you've got Chris Barnes, you've got Bill O'Neill, you've got Buttriff as kind of the guys that are certainly a lot of significant titles. Man, there's just a ton of dudes out there that are, Tommy Jones too, but there's just a ton of dudes out there kind of just looking for their first shot, and it's been that way for the beginning of the PBA season, and heck, this week as well, U.S. Open as well. I do love that. Hey, you guys have had so much fun talking about old bowling shows and old bowling events. Hey, as a kid growing up, Saturday afternoons, the one thing I wanted to see every Saturday was somebody I've never seen before bowl. You didn't get all the bowling that we get to see of the week leading up to the top five. All you got to see was the top five. And to get an opportunity to see somebody bowl I've never seen bowl before, that was really cool. We're certainly going to get that again tomorrow with the show.
Yeah, and this young man we're watching right here, it was funny because as the event has unfolded, a lot of folks thought, the left-handers were going to dominate. I actually said today, it could be that no lefties make the show. After what happened yesterday, it didn't look like the lefties had the greatest look. They had a good look, but certainly the right-handers made up a lot of ground. And in thinking about it last night, I was thinking, hey, if I had to pick one lefty that I thought would make it, certainly would be Jacob. But if I had to pick two, this kid would be my second pick. And how cool would that be to have 2 straight weeks where we have an 18-year-old making it to a show in a major?
Yeah. It's pretty impressive. Where in the world are these kids getting all this experience from, Jason?
Well, it must be things like junior gold and collegiate bowling,
Yes.
and some of the other programs, USA Bowling Nationals. Some of the Storm Youth Championships. The Elite Youth Tour. There's just so many great programs for kids to be bowling these days. They come out and they're ready to lock horns with the pros. And we saw Jillian Martin at the Kickoff Classic make 2 shows, which is just. It was unthinkable, 10 years ago, but now there's just so many great junior programs and so many great coaches, so much great coaching out there that allows these kids to come out even more well prepared than they were even 10 years ago.
Guys, I'd like to chime in on this one for just a moment of something that I think gets overlooked. When the Junior Gold program first started, and I believe it was just shortly after, it was you had to qualify through a qualifier in your area, and it was that point in time when you had to earn your spot into Junior Gold, where these youth directors were asked by the children, hey, are you going to run a qualifier? And they did, and there was even for a period of time that they had to be conducted on something other than a house shot, and I think that was the real start of the programs putting together more events and thinking about it from a flatter lane condition and gearing up towards Junior Gold. And then you're right, the ones that you mentioned, Deandra's group there, the Elite Youth Tour, what Storm has done such an incredibly job with the SYCs. But there are so many individual bowling center youth directors that run these events that build our field for Junior Gold, that I believe that is when it really started, and that's right around 2000 or just before it, as the first Junior Gold, actually tying it all back, was right here at the National Bowling Stadium, and yours truly competed, by the way, which was an unbelievable experience.
Young Flanagan, how did you do, sir?
At the time, you had to make the top 100, and then they dropped pens, which I completely disagree with that format. And I snuck in, and then I believe I finished like 30th or something like that, and you had to make the top 16 for match play. But I was proud of my performance, and not the dog on my buddy Mike Fagan, but he did not make the top 100. But then I think he went and won the event over at the Hilton at the time, the Second Chance tournament, I believe it was. And he got an article written about him, and I didn't, in 30th position.
That's just wrong. You deserved it. You deserved that media press.
I think history has proven that they made the right choice on who to cover at that event.
Yeah, I believe so too. Although I still to this day get people that hit me up on Facebook and go, "Hey man, really big fan. How come you're not bowling on tour anymore?" And I'm like, "You got to get rid of the LAN, and then we're the same guy. You get rid of LAN, I'm Mike Fagan."
In my mind, there's virtually no difference at all. No difference.
I appreciate that. My arm swing's a little looser, and I'm a little cooler to watch.
Yeah, you get out of it, I think, a little bit easier than he does. He's trying to make his ball move where you're not.
Yeah, he's got that Sargeester, and I've got a full fingertip grip, which with yellow inserts. I believe I still use Contour power grips.
The Contour yellow power grips. Yes, yeah. Awesome.
Guys, we do have a score update after 2.
Thank you, Aaron, for saving us.
Anytime. Jacob Buttriff continues to lead, plus 1374. Christian Ascona, plus 1321 in second. Jason Sterner, plus 1307 in third. Then we have about 100 pin break to fourth place. Michael Davidson, plus 1208. Sam Cooley, 1191, currently in fifth place. Anthony Nyer, first player out, 1187, 4 pins back, followed by Matthew Sanders at 1162. Bill O'Neill at 1121, Zeke Bate plus 1115, and then Chris Fye rounding out the top 10 plus 1106. We currently have 15 players within 178 pins of the top 5.
So the one thing that concerns me about Nair, about picking him to make the show, is I don't know how good he is at dialing his speed down. And I think what we're seeing from him on this pair is he's starting to see a little bit of carry down. And so typically when I throw urethane, or when I see people have success with urethane, that's when you start to get into trouble. You should actually get excited when you see your ball hook high and then move right, and then you can open them up if you're a lefty. But you have to be able to slow the ball down in order to do that. And so it feels like Anthony's just moving off of the high hit, and then he throws at the same speed. He catches some carry down. He 3-7-9s. Then he moves back to the left and he goes high again. I don't know if that's something that he's great at, moving to the right and slowing down his ball speed, because I think that's what he's going to need to do in order to navigate across this bowling center.
Hey guys, real quick, for the folks in the chat, I want to see how much Bowl TV you've been watching. When JT said he should be getting excited about seeing his ball hook through the face, what leave did JT like to see when throwing urethane back in the day that made him smile, go big, and know that was his time to shine? What was the leave that JT left? Leave it in the chat.
And while we wait for those comments to come in, one other little nugget I have for you here. JT, you're critiquing Nair's game and you're pointing out potential flaws that are just unknowns. But this young man is at McKendree University, bowling collegiately under Coach Brian O'Keefe and Coach Shannon O'Keefe and Dennis Knepper over there with that program. So those things that you mentioned right now, just think about over the course of the next 4 years, how much better this kid's going to get being part of that program.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really the interesting thing. I was wondering, had you guys run any numbers for how many lefties there were that bowled in the U.S. Open?
Yeah, we did. We ran some yesterday just to kind of get a feel for, what we thought the scoring pace was on pattern 4. And so that was really the main analysis that Mike Flanagan dove into a bit yesterday. And so, what we found basically was, the lefties didn't hit them nearly as hard as the righties did. And, it was going to be a struggle, for a number of them to make the show. So it looks like Jacob's got it figured out. He's got double 9 spare 5-bagger here, so he can shoot 279. He had a nice head start on everybody, but the players that didn't, the Nairs, the Matt Sanders, Jesper, who's bowling hurt. So I don't even know if that counts, because he would have certainly been my pick to be, one of the 2 lefties to make the show if there were 2 that were going to make it. It's just been a really interesting week in terms of the psychology of the patterns, because, there was clearly some days where, the lefties had it pretty good and the righties kind of freaked out. And then it looks like it's kind of flipped a little bit. And so the thing that's awesome about the U.S. Open is that there's 56 games and you got to bowl all 56 to get yourself there. And, the thing that's cool about these patterns that are different is that you've got a different psychology that goes with each one. And even that final day of qualifying on pattern 3, where the scores were so high, they didn't get super high until the last block. And the reason, in talking to some players here, was because they were so shell-shocked from the Masters and then coming into this event and having 2 tough days that they weren't as aggressive when they needed to make a move. They were okay going 250, 250, 20, 20. And because they felt like, hey, if I make a move here, I'm going to shoot 150. And by the end of the day, the players knew the secret. You could just be as aggressive as you wanted to be. And that's when we saw the really, really huge scores. So just the psychology of going through this event and bowling on these different patterns is just as important as the physical grind.
For the most part, the patterns have played really far to the right, even in the Masters. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well, is at this point, everyone's pretty grooved in on where their laydown needs to be, the angle they're going to attack the pocket in, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. I mean, here we are again, day 10 in this building or something like that, and everyone's still throwing smoke up 5.
Yeah, speaking of throwing smoke up 5, this guy's been pretty good at it the last 2 weeks. Jason Sterner made the show at the Masters. He looked like his hand was about to fall off on that show. They showed a picture of his thumb, and nobody picked him in our fantasy draft because it didn't look like he was going to make it. And here he is, basically almost a lock for the show, and he's got the front 8 here this game.
I would definitely say I'm most impressed with Sterner's bowling out of the entire field in the last 2 tournaments. Some of the adjustments he made in the Masters, he would start out game 1, whether it's the same ball or not, he starts out with the urethane ball. He's hitting it a little bit at the bottom. About halfway through game 2 is when he just changed to dead ropes, nothing on it, and he flushed so many shots. I was completely impressed with his performance. It was really a shame to see him just not have it on TV. I was really, really pulling for him because I thought just top to bottom, he outbowled the field in the Masters and the matches.
And Aaron mentioned in the chat a few minutes ago about what I got excited about when I would throw urethane to leave. I won't give you the answer yet because I think there's some people who are still chiming in. But Christian Ascona on the pair he's on right now, right in front of us, went spare, double, through the nose split, and then made a little move left, and now he's got 3 in a row. So he saw it. His eyes got big.
Yeah, for certain. How many 300s did we have yesterday?
2.
2.
Tony,
well, that sure was a lot of fun. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know you grew up throwing urethane, and you're getting kind of ready for the PBA 50 tour. How excited are you to see urethane play like it does out here, and your prospects going out and taking some money off the older dudes?
I don't think I'm going to be throwing much urethane at all. Just from past experience with at least watching the PBA 50 stuff, there's so much volume on there that you can throw about as much ball as you want in order to get it to hook. So I like that aspect. I don't think there's enough rev rate for really any of the senior guys that they'll be throwing very much urethane. I throw urethane for about 16 or 17 shots a year, and that's the first game and a half of team event at nationals every year. That's it. So you really just don't see a whole lot of it unless you're two-handed. And by that, I'm not talking about the Pro Tour. I'm just talking about in general day-to-day life of, let's say, the Dallas-Fort Worth bowling area or the Southwest. You just don't see urethane very much. So my expectation is I don't think I'll be throwing it very much. Of course, that could change quick, but I just think, at least if they go with some of the patterns that I've seen in the past couple of years, there's an awful lot of volume out there. I think my ball would be running through the 6-9 like some other famous bowler did a couple of times this week. If I could even get it to the 6-pin.
279 finish there for Sterner. Gives him 747 out of the gates. He's been on cruise control so far. 268 for Packy, 772. So thought there might be some numbers. Definitely some score to get out there. 738 for Sam Cooley for his first 3. Tommy Jones, 728. Chris Vi, 704. Some big numbers here.
As far as people in the building watching, are there any? Are any of the guys that bowled this week still there? Is it a ghost town except for y'all?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
At the moment, both.
Is it just me and you now?
Yeah, it's just us. So unfortunately, right now, all the folks in the DFW area are on the call at the moment until Jason and Mike return. But it's as far as I know, it is just staff. Yeah, Mike's chiming in our private chat now. He said, "Ghost town not allowed in due to the safety procedures and protocols." So, other than staff, ball reps, and athletes, that is about it.
Well, there you go. So, Aaron, who do you have in the draft? You guys been drafting all week long. Who do you have for the show?
Well, right now, we kind of, now that we've had some dead numbers out there, you can really kind of fine tune from our selections from prior to the start of the tournament, and it's really I feel it's a 3-player battle right now between JT, Stu, and Chad. So technically I'm not technically out of it. But I need like Buttriff to finish 23rd, which isn't going to happen. I need Barnes to finish 24th because that's who JT still has left. But I still got Vi and Cooley, so I can swing it. I could be potentially, with a lot of things going in my direction, if both of them happen to make the show, I could work my way into third, maybe if things go really right, second. But likely a middle of the field finish for me and my with my team after I had a lot of guys get caught on C squad for that final day. So obviously the scores jumped a ton for A squad and B squad. So a few of my guys lost some traction there that I thought were going to be a little higher in the standings, but that's bowling. What can you do?
You can't throw the shots for them, Aaron. All you can do is put them on the screen and let us enjoy. That's all you can do. If you could only have thrown it for them, just think how many strikes they would have right now.
How many less? Yeah, indeed.
That's precisely what I was implying. Yes.
All right, now coming to this pair, Jacob Buttriff and Bill O'Neill. So, matchup of two guys who have been in the top 5 pretty much throughout the day. As soon as we get a score update after 3, we will let you good folks know.
Oof. That did not make a move at all right there. 5 count. I guess I've got to watch the delay on that, don't I, Aaron?
Potentially, yes.
Yes. Or I can just see the future, which I guess I can see a 10-second future.
Well, to be fair, it's happened to all of us. So you are certainly not the first. You won't be the last.
Well, hey, I just wanted, how badly I wanted to join the team. So I'm in now. I'm in the club.
It's a badge of honor. It's so weird when you're actually there. We had the SWAC championship a couple of weeks ago at the ITRC, and the first day, because we gave JT a hard time about it during the kickoff classic, because it just seemed like he kept spoiling it for us. It's like, come on, JT, you know. And then all of a sudden, I'm down there. I think within like the first game and a half, I had already said something that I saw with my own eyes that I'm like, okay. And then I did it 6 more times. So,
oh yeah, there's no way I probably can't make it through this next 3 frames without doing it again. Forget where I'm at. Forget where I'm looking. There was a funny one the other night when we were watching. Flanagan was down there watching somebody, and he's like, "Oof, I don't know if he's going to be able to make this 4-pin, or this 4-pin's a tricky spare, or something like that. He may not make it, something like that." And of course, then 10 seconds later on the screen, the player misses the spare. And you guys are giving him a hard time about that. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know. You might have had some inside information on that one.
It is fun to work in this dynamic. It's cool though. It's been unique to have these situations. You know, we bringing you in here. We talked to Nick Hoagland. Had some of the players join us from the hotel rooms a little bit earlier in the week. Obviously, JT and Mike on site, Matt and I in Texas. So a very cool dynamic to talk a little bowl and have some fun at two major events.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been excellent. You guys have done a great job. It's been just a ton of fun. Ton of fun to watch. That's just such a great thing about the world we live in today, to be able to get to see all of this bowling, which, like I said, if you go back to when bowling was a Saturday afternoon game only, as far as broadcast television, you'd have to look in the paper to see how your favorite bowler did. We're so fortunate to be able to watch every shot.
I remember that, man, waking up on Saturday morning to find out who was on the show that day. That was like Christmas morning for me.
Oh, that was what it was all about.
I don't think I would have done as well as I did in school had there been Bowl TV back then.
I told you I've failed miserably at my job a lot in the last few months with all the bowling I've been watching. I got to make sure, because everything's a Zoom meeting, and if you have to share your screen, you got to make sure when you share it, you're not sitting there with Bill O'Neill firing strikes right in front of everything as you're trying to show some presentation to somebody at work. It's a dangerous world out there. I never thought that would be the way that I would ultimately end up getting fired, was watching bowling on my laptop. That's the way. That's my epitaph is going to read that. That's going to be a real crappy way to go.
Got fired watching bowling.
But it was a really important match. You guys don't understand. He had to strike in the 10th to make the show. This is a big deal. So, Jason, you asked a question about the urethane, so that just really begs the next question: is what do you think? Do you expect there to be much urethane thrown in the PBA 50? Because you sure have seen 8 million urethane balls go down the lane this week.
No, it's like you said. I think there's a little bit more room to throw to out there, and
Yes.
You're putting yourself at a pretty big disadvantage if you throw urethane. But I do wonder, your thoughts. You came out on tour right when reactive was just starting to come out, and probably wished it had never been invented. But now it's kind of flipped the other way. So it's like, does it, watching what's happening here this week and last week at the Masters, make you want to come out and maybe bowl against the young guys because urethane's back in play?
Not in the slightest. You'd be surprised how much I get asked that, and not necessarily about not at all about me, but just where you've got old time bowlers around town. We're real fortunate here in Dallas-Fort Worth. A lot of great older players, and I'm talking about in the 60 range or better, and they're like, oh, why aren't there more guys going out there? It's the same 10 bowlers that make the top 10 every week, and it's the same 5 that win, and all of that, and there just need to be more bowlers. And to that, my point is, the reason why is because those guys are so unbelievably good. It's we've got in Dallas-Fort Worth, 4 or 5 great pros out there now. You got Barnes, you got the Laveries, you got AJ Chapman, you got Dimitri Cruz out there bowling a bunch now, and those guys are awesome. They can't be beat anywhere here around town. But they're still not winning on tour. They're not making a lot of shows, and they're unbelievably good, and they're not good enough yet to make the top 10 with regularity. That's how good these guys are, the Bill O'Neills of the world. They're unbelievably good, and all they do is get smarter because all they do is bowl and play around with different balls. It's ridiculous. If you're not doing that every day, then you're just going to get beat. That's why I think this week is such an interesting anomaly in that there's so many other players making it. And Jason, right back to the point I think you're making, a lot of that is because they're throwing urethane. That's an equalizer to some degree. And for the most part, every block outside of 10 is the only way to play it, which also significantly negates an advantage of someone like Jason Belmonte or Anthony Simonson, where they have these amazing rev rates and they're able to play impossible angles that most PBA blocks get to. The last five, EJ Tackett, the last 5 games of any block, you can't beat those 3 dudes. No chance. But now everybody's playing outside of 10 for all 8 games. Hey man, it's anybody's game. Make the shots. So I think as a fan, it's really interesting to watch. You have to enjoy that. So I have certainly enjoyed it.
Folks, we got a score update through 3. Jacob Buttriff continues to lead, plus 1472, 3-0 in match play so far today. Jason Sterner is going to move into second place after 279 last game, plus 1416. Christian Azcona drops to third, plus 1360. Then some change in the top 5. Sam Cooley moving into fourth place, plus 1264. Matthew Sanders moves into fifth, plus 1240. Michael Davidson, the first player out now, plus 1228, 12 back. Anthony Nair, plus 1220. Chris Vi, plus 1186, excuse me. Bill O'Neill and Zeke Bate tied for 9th and 10th, plus 1126. And Packy with that strong start, going 279, 225, 268, has moved all the way up to 15th place and is 206 out of the show.
Chris Vi. How good has he been bowling for the last 3 months?
It's been impressive. He's been we've been trying to figure out a nickname for him. That started last night. I think Andrew Anderson, who joined us on the show, mentioned that. And we got to find a way to work in Major and Vi and all this to explain this run he's going on. It's been incredible.
Yeah, I've been really, really impressed with him as well. As he's been one of the few players that's been able to play different parts of the lane successfully these 2 weeks. And that's no small feat right there. So I would say he was somebody I was not an early adopter on, but he has sure got it figured out. So good for him.
We're going to head over to 67 and 68 here in just a moment, I should say. Zeke Bates starting this game with the front 8 against Mitch Hoope.
Are we still nervous to have Flanagan involved with anybody with more than a double to start a game? Is that still a scare factor, or has he broken the curse?
He's on the board now. He's got 2 of them here in the U.S. Open, so it's I feel it's open season now.
Yeah, you guys are definitely throwing around the black cloud Nomer a lot on that. And he may have some of that in him, but boy, there are some really, really senior people that are much more black cloudish than he is. He's got to put some more skins on the wall in order to truly be a Hall of Fame style black clouder. It has to carry over into more than things than just bowling 300s.
Short putts on the golf course.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look at Zeke here, plus 1126. We mentioned he was in the top 10.
Crush.
Heck of a 2-week stretch here in Reno for Zeke.
Yes.
Great run at the Masters and went 300 over the last day to make it into the cut here at the U.S. Open. Was minus after 2 days. And went 323 over in round 3 and has been on a run since, just working his way.
Ah, see, he's pitching the urethane. Ah, that's nice. Nice. I see in the comments, Packer Don, Black Cloud it's not only Mike, it's all of Bull TV.
To be fair, he's not wrong.
Oh man, the Schlep Rock.
It's
Yes.
a community effort. All right, here's Zeke going for 10. All right, here we go. As you said, Tony, creating a little shape.
Yeah, he looks like he is, and that pitching it's allowing him to do that a little bit, so it doesn't start up in the first 5 feet.
Zeke's games so far today: 237 and a win, 228 a loss, and 211 a loss. So 1-2 on the day. He's 7-4 overall, plus 1126. Hoping to be plus 1256 in 2 shots. Can we add one more? And we're back at it, Tony. Back at Clouden.
I'm not going to take that. That's you guys. I haven't even had a chance to cloud anybody yet.
Great game for Zeke here. Going to potentially move up a couple more spots.
Yep, it's good work. 289. That's going to put him right in there. He was 114 out of the show coming into this.
And folks, that's why it's going to be so crazy in the next. We're still setting things up here. That's the crazy thing about so many games of round robin match play is that we even talked about. We were talking scenarios earlier today about AJ Johnson. What it would take for him to get back in the mix, and he was in 23rd place. But it's it's going to start to take a little bit more shape this round. But that's why tonight's round, 8 p.m. Eastern, is just going to be absolutely wacky with the scoring pace we've seen here on this pattern, and just the ups and downs, the ability for someone to go up there and throw a nice little 10-bagger like Zeke just did. It's going to make it something pretty fun, pretty crazy to see who that top 5 is going to end up being.
So at the end of this block, if someone is 250 pins out, you think they still could get there? Or is it going to have to be 200 or less?
I still think 200.
200?
I would put it at 200. But folks, Mike's been enjoying the over-under this week, so we'll put that to everyone in the chat as well. So do you think over or under on 200 pack to make the show possible in the final 8-game block?
Yeah, give me the under on that. Anybody who's 200 out or more, no chance. So if according to the Bull TV logic, just by saying that'll guarantee somebody's going to be 296 pins out and finish, third.
You're going to have a Sam Cooley run and shoot 1,100 for their first 4.
Woo! How about that? Maybe. Amazing what a win on a TV show will give you just a little bit of confidence. Now all of a sudden, this game's looking pretty simple to him. That's great.
Big shot here for Chris Vi. Barnes can still shoot 267. So the first one there puts Chris into the 260s. And he can even get away with 9 spare here for 268. So at least 9 on this shot. We'll get him the bonus pins. That's a tough situation for Barnes to potentially shoot 260 and not get bonus, but that's in play here this week.
So, yeah, I see in the comments here, anyone in the top 10 has a chance. Let's see, top 10 right now. Yeah, no doubt about that. Zeke was tied for 10th. 9th and 10th. He just picked up 119 pins that last game, and he was 114 out. So he top 10 most definitely can get there. Most definitely. I would like to ask a favor of Chris Vi, if he could just show me some level of excitement, excitability, a fist pump, a kick at the foul line, something. He's just making it look so nonchalant. Maybe that's part of his new style, is just a very gentle fist pump right there for the shutout. But I'd like him to be a little bit more exciting and demonstrative. Is that too much to ask, Aaron? Can we get that? We can put in a request.
I would love to see it, but
I don't think we're going to see it.
But Chris is cool, calm, collected, and
he is.
We see a ball change there on the fill ball. They talked about, or Mike talked about that a little bit earlier on the broadcast, that they were attempting to that first round kind of try to figure out when was the right time to go from urethane to reactive. We saw him have the big finish, the 819 finish in the Cashers round with reactive, which included the first 300. But said during that first round, we're trying to really lock down the best time, the best place for Chris to make that switch. So potentially moving forward in the second half of this block, he might go back to that reactive ball. But when you have 10 out of 11 strikes with urethane, obviously that's probably not quite ready to get to it. But
yeah.
But gaining information as you go. Mike Flanagan was called Chris Vi an early lock for the show. Which helps my fantasy team because I picked him. So I agreed with that 100%. And Chris is one heck of a nice guy. So
that's what I hear. I hear he is one heck of a nice guy. How dare such a good bowler be such a nice guy? That's why he's got to, you guys got to come up with a real ferocious nickname for him.
Barnes, a nice game there, 256, but just not enough. Chris Vi, 279 with the victory. He too going to be moving closer toward that top 5.
It's a lot of pins picking up there as well. Yeah, there's definitely going to be some fireworks. Well, for the rest of the day, but for sure the last few games, a lot of fireworks.
Let's take a look at live scoring here, see if we got any other big finishes wrapping up. 43 and 44. It's one of the few we don't have. Tommy Jones, 258 that game.
Yeah, it's a big win, 58 to 245. And Matt Sanders, 258 to 225.
Mm-hmm.
Also a big one, because he's right on the bubble.
Yeah, Sanders has been going on these runs this week. It's all of a sudden it's 240, 240, 240, and then all of a sudden he'll fall back for a quick second, and then it's right back to 240, 250, 260. And it's just been hanging around. Right there in the mix. Is having a great week here at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's good to see him find his groove again a little bit. When he first came out, he was super hot right away. Just hasn't had a whole lot of success since. So we have what, 5 left-handers in the top 24? Is that right?
I believe 5 was the number.
Yeah.
We started with, or when we started match play, it was the first 4 spots, but that has quickly changed here. Buttriff, Sanders, Nair, and Svensson, and then Packy as well. So we know Jesper has been fighting an injury on his left hand, so he has fallen back a little bit. Headed into this game 300 back of the show in a tie for 19th place, plus 9 at 40. But the other 4, Packy, as we mentioned, on the move within 200 pins of the show, and then Nair, Sanders, and obviously Buttriff's been pretty much at the top for the entire event outside of a couple of games here. But Sanders and Nair have been right around the mix as well.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was just interested in the number of lefties that just bowled the tournament. Again, I don't know all the players. A lot of new names to me. But it just felt like from watching so much of it, there were more lefties out there than you would see in a normal PBA event. That has a lot to do with it. I think that helps the play as well. When you've only got 2 or 3 left-handers on tour at any one given time, and you've seen Jacob has just not quite had the success that he got real used to real fast when he first came out. If there's only 2 or 3, him, Jesper, there's just, Ryan Simonelli, he's retired or part-time or something in between right now. So there's just not a whole lot of lefties out there. You got guys like Wesley Lowe coming out and giving it a shot, but it just hasn't been a whole lot of success on the left-hand side. So obviously the stadium's always been predominantly a left-handed hotel, but you got a lot of guys. Well, it just felt like there were a lot of lefties in the field this week. So I have to ask, do you have that number handy? How many there were in the U.S. Open?
Total, no. I know we had 7 make it to the round of 36 to make the first cut. And then Matt Russo and Kim Bullaby did not make it to the top 24. Russo was just a couple spots short. Kim a little bit farther back. But since we're talking lefties, we got Packy and we got Jacob.
Let's do it.
53 and 54.
All right, Butcher's got him by a stone cold 460 pins. Let's see how well he uses it.
Packy got off to a pretty quick start today. 279, 225, 268.
Yeah, he got himself within that shouting range of 200 pins or so of the cut.
Yeah, but looks like he slowed down a bit the last couple. And you really don't have, especially if you're behind the 8 ball, you really don't have the luxury of being able to slow down. There's a lot of strikes being thrown right now by the leaders. And I posed the question a little while back about Anthony Nair, if he had, in his toolkit, the ability to jump into the oil and soften up a little bit. And that's exactly what he did to pull out his last game. So the answer to that question is yes, he can do that.
Can he sustain it? That is the question.
Well, he does seem. Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
I was just going to say, even you could stomp left and soften a couple up and look like you know what you're doing, right?
Maybe.
Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe.
But what's really going to be the test is when you come down the stretch here with U.S. Open pressure. For somebody who's tends to get amped up and is A game is to throw it hard. Can he maintain the slow speed when he needs it?
Yep, absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see. But that's just one of those things I think you learn.
Yeah, because it's so easy when you need a strike, to just amp up just a little bit, maybe get the ball a half board in and throw it an extra mile an hour fast. And for a lot of players that works. That's their go-to shot. But with urethane, when there's a lot of carry down late in the block, that's a 3.79.
Yep, all day long. You're right. So, Aaron, we were talking about the lefty piece and how many lefties we had in the field in the finals. And then I noticed in the chat, Mr. Hoagland popped in on there with some quick stats. I love that. This guy is a human calculator. I love it. He's got every stat you need to straighten up the conversation. Thanks, Mr. Nick. That is good stuff. So as we were talking about that, he mentioned that given the numbers, you should have about 5 to 7 lefties make the top 36. And Aaron mentioned there were 7. 4 to 6 make the top 24. There are 5. So a perfect number right there, according to that. And maybe even a nickname for Chris Vi, PB Vi, PB Vay. I don't know. We may have to put that one in the trash can, Mark. It looked better before I said it out loud, and it just didn't sound good. So that's 2 enthusiastic thumbs down.
Well, did you happen to see the AJ Chapman two out?
Yeah, Jeannie and I were having a good giggle about the different things you could call him on that. Was there one that you guys felt was the winner as far as what his new nickname should be?
I think Aaron had the winner, but unfortunately, it didn't pan out, so we can't. What was yours, Aaron, again?
Nice cover there by Packy. There were a few unsuccessful attempts thrown out there, and when we got down to it, I said I knew what he wanted to be called. He wanted to be called the 2021 U.S. Open champion, but yes, unfortunately for AJ, that did not pan out with the big jump in scores.
In my book, he's a winner just for doing what he did. And he also missed the cut by 1 pin, by the way.
Yeah, but how many games did he bowl? That's not a big deal. I mean, I know that he lost it was on a striker, the double, so maybe he lost, I don't know, 20 pins or something ridiculous like that, Genie. But still, he bowled 12 games after that, 10 games after that?
He actually shot 202 that game. He actually made a nice little run, and what was funny was after that frame, he made an immediate move to the right and said, "I'm not doing that again," and threw like double spare off the sheet.
That's good. I love AJ. I like all the AJs. I can sit and watch him bowl. Chapman's awesome to watch. He gives my heart a good workout anytime I watch him bowl.
I'll tell you, that last day of qualifying, especially when the last block got underway, it was like the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with the reps running all over the place trying to get players into the right ball to shoot 260 every game. It was pretty crazy here.
Yeah, it made for good drama on the screen as well. There's nothing wrong with having it turn out like that.
Do you have a
But
quick?
I did. Go ahead, Aaron.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. That's fine.
I was just going to give a quick score update. Jacob plus 1561 leading the way. Sterner in second plus 1444. Ascona third 1426. Matt Sanders plus 1328. Vi plus 1295. So Vi has moved into the show with that 279. 8 pins ahead of Sam Cooley, who's at 1287. Nair at 1286. Mike Davidson 1253. Zeke Bate with the front 10. Actually stays in the same spot, just a little bit closer, plus 1245. Tommy Jones rounds out the top 10 plus 1180. Down to 12 players now within 200.
It was funny. I was talking to one of the ball reps between games, and Belmo was up on the high end and lost with 216, but he said the buzz on the lanes was, "Here comes Belmo." I mean, it's just, and it's not like he's doing anything spectacular. He just he went 223, 269, 234 with 2 wins, and just that is enough to kind of get the field thinking, "Uh-oh, here he comes." So it's just funny how one player can have such an impact on the mentality of the rest of the field.
Like I said earlier, he's been very unassuming this entire event. It's just been very under the radar, low key, however you want to say it. He's always been in the mix, but we're still waiting for the that moment where he puts the pedal through the floor, and all of a sudden we see that run.
Yeah, the players are expecting it. They're just waiting for it too. They're waiting for it to happen.
Is he throwing urethane right now, Jason?
He is. Yes, he is.
What would you say is the breakdown of people throwing urethane to reactive?
Probably 19-5.
Okay. Somewhere in the 75% range.
Yeah, it might be higher than that actually.
Okay.
And I really think the only people that are using reactive are players that don't have a chance, and they're just trying to, find lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you got to do. You got to swing for the fence. If you're in that 300 plus behind the show category. So here's another question. I never heard an answer to it last week. Spencer Robarge, how many balls did he bring into the tournament, or how many did he ever have on his list? I've only seen him throw, looks like the same ball, and I wondered if he throws other types of urethanes other than the pitch black that he appeared to throw most of the time.
That's a great question. I don't have the answer. I can find out, based on his ball card, what he brought. But it certainly looked like he stuck with that pitch black basically all week at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And pretty much all week at the Masters as well.
Yeah, just, from a viewership, really interesting, obviously, to see a young 18-year-old have such incredible success all around. Just didn't know if he's using 1, 2, 3 of them, if he drills a new one every block, if he throws it for 20 games. I'm just curious to know.
I was actually, I'm not avoiding the question, but I think there's a related topic. Belmo has a couple of urethane balls in his arsenal, and one of them I know is a ball that he's used in the Masters for the last 3-4 years.
Interesting.
It's really interesting if you think about it. In today's day and age of players drilling a new ball, they'll whack them on a block and they'll drill the same ball for the next squad, just so they have a fresh cover. That somebody's actually keeping a ball for 3-4 years.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's good to know. There's definitely some science in that as well. With especially a week like this, the urethane having such incredible importance, and everyone, how they treat it is that they scuff it They just got the one and they scuff it and ride it out for 8 games or 6 games or whenever you make the change, or do you have 3 of them at different surfaces and just go at it that way?
Yeah, that is the interesting thing, and 1 year Jacob, he only had 1 reactive ball in his entire arsenal for the tournament, but basically just changing surfaces on the urethane balls. But especially for an event like this where urethane has been such a big factor, you have to wonder, how many different ball reactions can you get with urethane? We mentioned, one of the players in the field yesterday basically had 2 purple hammers in their arsenal, 1 pin up, 1 pin down, and just kind of switch back and forth between those depending on if he wanted the ball to hook 5 feet sooner or 5 feet later. Right. So but how many urethane balls is it wise to fill up your ball card with, and because how many different reactions can you really get with urethane?
Yeah. only the rarest of talents can get a second reaction. We got action. Speaking of action, what do we have here?
This is Nick Pate, 8 for 8. Hey, that rhymed. And a 7-8. Well, we still got it. Tony, you've been here for 2 of them now.
Yeah, I'm still not willing to take any blame on that. But maybe we need somebody to finish one, and then I can take the credit for the uncloud, bringing the sun back out and letting it shine on everybody's 10th, 11th, and 12th frames.
Poor Mike. He even said in our private chat, he's just FYI, all caps. I walked out of the office and did not film it, but I did see it. So Mike just apparently looking at it is enough to black cloud somebody.
Ooh, that was a great shot.
I've brought up Greek mythology a few times on the show the last 2 weeks, and I think when you do 120 hours of coverage in 2 weeks, pretty much every topic comes up. But Greek mythology for 1,000 is coming up again. Mike is kind of the Medusa of our coverage team. Medusa, the character who
snakes. Is that the snakes in the hair, or is
the hair? And if you locked eyes with Medusa, you would turn to stone. So I think Mike has become kind of the Medusa of our team. Would you think that's an apt comparison? Aaron likes it.
It could be. I didn't know we were going to talk Medusa today during this. I wish I'd studied up a little bit more overnight. That is true. I did hear you mention Greek mythology the other night, Jason. What the hell are you guys doing on this show?
Oh, that's maybe it is the 120 hours or whatever we're at. That just hit me in all the right spots right there, JT. That was great. I'm having a moment right here in Bowl TV studios.
Oh, I'm definitely thinking back to right now when you say that, the Harry Hamlin Clash of the Titans movie.
Oh yeah, that me too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A classically awful but awesome movie. Jason Sterner, he will not go quietly into the night. He wants it. It's only 120 out of first. I mean, he's got big plans right here.
Tony, we had a discussion, or we started at the beginnings of potentially many discussions of with these tournaments being back to back, the Masters and the U.S. Open. Essentially, having your all Reno team. Your first team all Reno NBS performers for both events, and obviously with that you got to have an MVP. And I think Sterner is if he's able to get through these next 12 games or so and find his way to another TV show, I don't think anyone would argue with him potentially being the MVP of this 2-week swing at the National Bowling Stadium.
Agreed, 100%. 100%. I hope wherever he finishes, gets himself on the show. I hope he bowls well. I hope he has better success just all the way around. He certainly deserved it. The MVP needs to bowl for the title. No.
And I think they're going to have that 7-pin respot on 41. That was cleared off by the machine, so we'll get that, which makes this match even more interesting.
I half expected Flanagan to run down there and reset the jobs you had this guy do. It feels like he has to do everything, including make sure no one shoots 300 ever again in this building.
So with the conversion here, max score for Sterner will be 258. Matt Sanders still has 257 out there.
Yeah,
And,
he's got a spare strike. Well, that's
oh, Jason. We even have clouding abilities with MVP talks. It applies to spare shooting.
it's impressive. It's impressive the display this team has been putting on.
1,500 miles away. That's great.
I'd say it's only going to affect if Matt steps up and squashes him. So what's he got left in the bag? 246. Sterner can still make 246.
246, yeah.
57 for Sanders.
So strike in the 9th. First 2 in the 10th would lock it up for the young southpaw from Evansville, Indiana. And there's one. Chris Feig going to sneak out a win against Jesper Svensson. Over on the low end, Davidson with a win. Looks like Buttriff ended up with the win over Packy. Pate 264 in that matchup against Anthony Nyer. Enough for the win.
Yeah, Nyer. $230, yep.
Sanders, though, going to open up the door here. Going to cover it up, but his max now 235. So 20-pin fill for Sterner. He's going to get away with that miscue in the 9th.
Flipped it on the count right there.
Big on the count, absolutely, yep. And now 19 pins will get the job done. 234 for Matt Sanders. Spare 9. Strike 9. First part of it, strike. 9 and 2 shots.
9 and 2.
All right, that's a win. Sterner bounces back after the missed single pin in the 9th frame. Going to be in the 240s. Going to be taking home another win here. So we get ready for Game 6 in just a moment. This is round 2 of match play at the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith, joined on the call, as always, the Bowl TV team, Matt Cannizzaro, Jason Thomas, and Mike Flanagan, and our special guest, Tony Franklin, swinging by for a little bit. Tony, last time we got to chat was at the PWBA Kickoff Classic Series. You got to join us for a few of the TV finals, and some great times there. Some great calls by you and CDB as well, Carolyn Doran Ballard. Really enjoyed listening to both of you work together and kind of break down the shows. Tell us a little bit about that experience now that we've had some time to kind of reflect on it.
Absolute dream to get the opportunity to do that. It was so much fun. I've wanted to do that forever. So super excited that you guys gave me and CDB the opportunity. It was great fun to do it with Carolyn. I really loved all the technical analysis that she provided. Carolyn's awesome. I've always been such a fan when she's done shows in the past, whether they're the collegiate shows or some of the lady shows previous, just great stuff. So it was really just a lot of fun. Not to mention, we got to see such great action. Brianna Cote wins, Julia Bond wins, and of course, Jillian Martin's coming out party to the Professional Bowlers Association, the women's, just crazy, just so much fun. Love the amount of talent and competitiveness we got to see. Game 6, right? All right, here we go.
Game 6. Gonna take a look real quick over at 63 and 64, Sanders and Buttriff. There is the announcement. So we're ready to get going here, folks. Game 6, 3 more to go before we have a nice little break. Players will have their opportunity to rest up and prepare. 8 p.m. Eastern, the final 8-game block. To determine the top 5 for the FS1 broadcast. Shall be Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And folks, don't forget we'll have a pregame and a postgame show right here on Bowl TV as well. So we'll fire up the cameras about an hour before the show starts. Talk about the week in general, some predictions from the show, and I'm sure some excitement as we get a look at the just everything going on. But
so Aaron, have you guys discussed anything in regards to the pacing of match play? Just the difference of everybody gets to their pair, announcement comes up, says, okay, you can now start your next game, to where it used to be so much around as soon as you're done, you go, if your player's ready, you fire away, and you'll get off 3, 4, 5 frames all the time. Have the players said this is something they like better?
That's a good question, and not being there, I cannot say for sure. So I know we got Jason and Mike who could potentially talk to that, but we also have one additional special guest joining us. So we are filling up the screen here. Spencer Robarge is going to be joining us. I know Tony had a few quick couple questions as well. Let's bring this young man in. So Spencer, hello.
Hey, how are you?
We're doing great. It's great to see you. Once again, a fantastic week and a half there for you in Reno, and it's thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, hey, Spencer, Tony Franklin, haven't had a chance to talk to you yet. Again, congratulations. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
So I had a question for you, and I was wondering about this for the past 2 weeks. How many different balls did you throw in the event, or how many did you may even have drilled? It seemed like you threw, at least for the most part, the same ball, but I wonder if you have like 5 different pitch blacks or what. So could you kind of walk us through your equipment for the week?
So I actually figured this up last night because I was bored and just didn't know what I was, wanted to figure it out. I bowled 61 games over the 2 weeks, and 56 of them were with I have 2 pitch blacks that I threw, and then I had 2 games with a hustle PBR that was during the Masters, and then 2 games with a infight and a game with a reality. I brought 9 balls out here, and I drilled the reality for the U.S. Open because you can have 10 balls in the tournament. So that was my my setup.
All right. So you said you bowled 61 games, and 50 was it 57 that were with pitch blacks?
56.
56. Is that normal for you to throw so many with one ball or one style of ball?
Yeah, being left-handed and the patterns are these days, I mean, I very, very rarely get to throw resin. They just seem to hook too much most of the time, which is okay because, the urethane balls are really controllable for me. It gives me a motion that I like to see and just helps me out to get to the 1-2 and, to throw some pins around in the right direction. So that's pretty normal for me.
That's great. I'm surprised you brought 9 balls. That seems like a lot.
Well, I really wasn't planning on bowling the Masters, and I had gotten the call that I was in. And my plan, was obviously to get ready for the US Open and get ready for bowling well in that tournament. So I had no expectations for the Masters. And I knew that the US Open, you're allowed 10 balls. So I wanted to have at least 9, to give myself some options. And I talked with Jim Callahan after the 3rd practice session, which was the 44-footer pattern. And we talked about kind of what was in the bag, if we had any gaps. And that was when we went ahead and drilled the reality. But, it's pretty normal for me to only throw a few balls in the tournament.
Right. Makes sense. On the show, you got to bowl a few rounds. Did you change your surface at all or change balls at all on the show?
Yeah, so after every game, I'd hit my ball with a fresh 500, and then I would take it to the practice pair, which was offset, and throw 1 ball with it to get the surface kind of back in check.
Yeah.
And then I would leave it alone, and I would practice. We were allowed to practice all through their practice on practice pair. I had like a resin ball under there that I was throwing just to stay loose.
Was there anything that was a real surprise to you on the show as far as the itself?
Not really. I mean, I've bowled on TV before. I've been in that situation before, and everything was pretty normal. I've also bowled, on TV where there was no fans, so I, understood that and was ready for that. It was kind of just one of those things where, you go and you do what you can, and you try to knock down more than everyone else, and I felt like I bowled really well on the show. I had a couple of really bad shots in the third game that cost me that win. But it was one of those things. It was really fun, and I felt like I threw the ball pretty well.
When's the next time that you're going to get out here and bowl with the pros?
Either the Masters or the U.S. Open, because
Okay.
the regular tour doesn't allow for amateurs to bowl right now. I think they've gone to more of an exempt tour, so I can't bowl anything for them. So the next time that I'll get to bowl is either the Masters or the U.S. Open.
Does that feel like a letdown a little bit to come out and compete so well against this group, and then it's basically going to be a year before you can tee it up with the best of the best again?
Yes and no. I mean, I understand, for the longest time, the PBA allowed, whoever to bowl tournaments. And I understand that, with everything going on, including the virus, because, this rule came into effect before the virus had hit, it definitely limits the amount of bowlers bowling the tournaments, which is better for this, for this time period. And who knows, maybe when this is all said and done, maybe it goes back to the way it was. I don't know. But on the same token, it's hard. I mean, bowling 2 weeks in a row, bowling a couple 11 days in a row. I mean, it's impossible to do it every day and be able to give every day the same amount as the previous day, or at least it was for me.
Yeah.
The Open definitely had a little bit of help with the patterns because they weren't, as tight as the Masters pattern. And I would even say the flat pattern was probably the same way in that case too. But, it's just been an honor to be able to come out and bowl these tournaments and to do everything. So.
Hey, Spencer Robars, this is Mike Flanagan up here.
Hi, Mike.
Thank you for being able to join us on such short notice. I really appreciate you being able to do so. I have to ask the obvious question in regards to this event here, which is a painful experience for you, I'm sure. But I really need to understand now that you've had a couple days to reflect on it here. That final game of qualifying to make it into the top 36. Did you know what you needed in the 10th frame? Did you know that you needed 7? Obviously, the result was 6, but did you know that going in? And take us through what happened in that moment.
I had no clue. If I would have known, I would have thrown it right at the head then. I had no clue. I knew that there was a score at 253. I knew that the cut number was 250. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I've got to just get above 250. And the way that, with all the distancing and all of that, it really makes it kind of difficult to see what people are shooting. And Brian was at least 5 pairs to the right of me. And, you can see probably 3 or 4 pairs, but the glare on the screen kind of makes it difficult to see anything past that. So I knew that he had been bowling well. I didn't know that he had got to 40 the last game. And had I known, I had talked to Jim before the last ball, and he said get 10, which obviously that didn't happen. But after I threw my ball, he said, I didn't even know he had 251, and I was, like, it's not his fault. I should have maybe paid a little bit more attention. But yeah, if I would have known, I just would have thrown it right at the head pin, because if I hit the head pin, I'm guaranteed at least 6.
So you were trying to throw a strike there, and you made the best shot you could to knock down 10.
I didn't throw it the best, but I definitely didn't think that I got 6. I thought I had got 9. I felt like I was going to potentially leave a 7 pin. My issue on that pair was I hadn't had a ball hooked to my all game, and because I went 6 pins, bagger, bucket, 3-7. And then I had left the shaker 5. So I hadn't had a ball all game too much. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, slow it down just a hair and try to hit the 1-2. And I thought I had achieved that. And I don't know, maybe I hit the friction on 1, which, I guess the stadium had a whole bunch of friction on 1. But that thing just took off, and so I was happy at least that I had a chance. But when you have the front steps shot at you, it's a little bit difficult to win. So
Yeah, the other question I had for you is right after that happened, we could see it clear as day right up here from the booth, and all the folks on Bowl TV could see it on their screens. There was a certain someone that stopped by your pair, and you two had a pretty lengthy conversation, and that was with Jason Belmonte. Could you share with us, or are you at liberty to share with us some of the things that you and Belmo talked about immediately after finding out that you were tied and you needed to bowl a one-game roll-off to make it into the top 36 at the U.S. Open?
Well, I started to fry a little bit because my last 2 games I had gotten 6 in the still shot, and the 7th game I thought was going to strike, and it got 6. So it's one of those things where it's like, I definitely didn't think that for those 2 shots I was going to get 12. So basically, I was starting to get a little annoyed with myself, and he just told me to calm down, get ready for the next match, and to go out and win it. And I actually felt pretty good mentally going into that match. I kind of had been watching Brian in the practice, and for the first 7.5, 8 minutes, I think he threw maybe 1 or 2 strikes, and at that point I'm starting to think, okay, his ball reaction is not going to be the same as his last pair. We should be okay, because in practice I had a pretty good ball reaction, and when the lights turned on, I think I started on the left lane, and I was strike spare, and he found something in the last couple of shots. I think he threw 1 strike on the right lane and 2 strikes on the left lane, and then threw the next 7 in a row. So, he did what he was supposed to do, and that's what we.
Well, thanks for answering both of those questions for me, Spencer. I know they're very difficult to answer, but at the same time, I'm sure your head is held pretty high with the performance that you did in these 2 weeks.
Oh, absolutely. It's been the 2 greatest weeks of my life. It's definitely helped the college fund. We've got your gold coming up.
Yep.
And some other tournaments like that. So we're just going to keep adding to it before we go off in August.
So last question, Spencer. Who's going to win this tournament?
I don't know. The standings have been interesting. Buttrick's been up there. I know Christian Escona was up at the top for a while. I would have to. I don't hate Buttrick's chances. This game's not been his best, but he's got a way of throwing quite a few strikes when he needs them. I'm not completely sure where Belmonte is. He's always in the running. I guess I would have to say Buttrick, but this game probably doesn't portray everything that he's been doing this whole time, but I'm sure in the next pair he'll shoot 250 or 260 like he always does.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
That's probably right. Okay, there's the real prediction from a real player right there. It's Buttrick for the win.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much for the time today, Spencer. That was awesome. I really appreciate being able to kind of dig into your mind and into your bowling bag a little bit. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for everything you do for bowling.
Thanks, Spencer.
Well, I was wondering if Spencer was
guys?
going to go out on a limb at all, but did good stuff. Those are great questions, Mike. I was hoping you were going to ask the Belmo question. You got a great picture of it too. That was I love the way you guys kept the camera right on that the other night. So that was really, really a cool moment.
Most definitely, and that's one of the things about the platform that we use here. We have the opportunity to bring in guests from afar. So when I heard you guys talking about Spencer, I shot him a note. And how cool was it for him to just pop right on here and join us here for a little bit? And there is that picture. That was the moment just the other night when Spencer Robarge needed 7 to make it into the top 36 and got 6 and had to bowl that roll off and ran into a freight train in a 1-game match at Brian Robinson. And Belmo came over and calmed his nerves and gave him some advice on how to go get him. So just goes to show the type of person Belmo is. And he knows what the future looks like in this sport. And that's one of the things that Belmo doesn't get enough credit about is he's always looking towards the future. And he knows that one day, it won't be his day anymore and it will need to be handed off to somebody else. And Spencer Robarge, if there were odds on it, is one of the favorites to potentially do that. He's got a lot of work still to do. But he's the all-time record holder as a youth bowler for having the most 300 games. And he's won so many tournaments all throughout the country at the youth level. And now this last 2 weeks, his coming out party here, bowling the Masters and the U.S. Open, making a show and just barely missing the top 36. But, man, what a great experience for him. And he has learned so much and matured so much and getting ready to go to Wichita State University.
Yep. He's amazing. So thanks again. I love that picture. Thank you, Brandy, for the great picture on that. That was awesome to be able to catch that moment. Good stuff.
All right, Tony, I know you mentioned to us you had some other things to be attending to this Saturday. So before you head out, any final words before we take off? Obviously, we always appreciate the time and you joining us here on Bowl TV. So thank you for that. Thank you for the insight. And, of course, a couple laughs along the way as well.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for the time. Really glad I got an opportunity to hop in. Maybe, if you guys have some spare room later tonight, I can hop in and kick the tires with young Flanagan one more time. That would be great. But it's volleyball time now for my daughter, so it's one other sport we got to add to the ledger.
Hey, Tony, young Flanagan, was that a cocktail reference?
You know it, young Flanagan. Yes.
Okay. All right, Doug Coughlin. And the second thing was, I just want to make sure, that the intro that I provided for you earlier was sufficient enough if you do come back, or do I need something that's a little bit better than what I gave you on the intro here?
It was perfect. I'm going to be really disappointed if anything gets left out from that one. So it's going to need to be the exact same style and content as that. Yes. That's all you got to do for me is a huge intro that is untrue, yet makes my already huge ego even bigger. As simple as that. It's a layup.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see y'all later. Be good.
Thanks, buddy. You too. All right, Michael, here we go.
Couple to play.
All right, we're finishing up. Let's see, we got anything else going on any of the other?
You could go to 47 and 48 if you like.
47, 48. Okay, folks will have to deal with us for just a quick second while we get that queued up here.
Just a peek at Christian Ascona here, finishing out his game against Zach Tackett. Zach Tackett has already posted a 227. But, Ascona came in as the tournament leader, and as we are, at the end of game number 6, interesting to see how he's attacking the lanes. I thought we could take a peek in here, as this is one of the pairs that is remaining bowling in this game number 6.
While we were having that chat with Spencer, we did get a score update, so we'll run over those real fast.
Excellent.
Jacob Buttroff plus 16.05. He's 11-2 overall in match play and 5-0 so far today. Second place, Sterner, 15.20. Christian Ascona plus 14.74. Matt Sanders plus 13.62. Chris Vi plus 13.49. 8 pins ahead of Sam Cooley for the final spot plus 13.41. Anthony Nyer plus 13.16. Mike Davidson plus 1313. Zeke Bate plus 1262. Tommy Jones in 10th place. He's 4-1 today, heading into game number 6, plus 1235. And then 12 players. So O'Neill at 1173 and Belmo at plus 1164, within 200 of the show.
So, Aaron Smith, to put you on the spot here, since I know you've got so many computer screens and stuff in front of you,
I do.
how many pens out was Belmo coming into this round?
Coming into this round, Belmo started this round 14 in 14th place, 203 out of the show.
203 out of the show. So if you do the typical, got to make up 100 this set and 100 the next set. How many is Belmo out right now?
185.
So he's only made up about 20 pens roughly in 5 games. In this game, did we report on what he did as we were busy interviewing and having guests?
Well, I see he shot 215, but unfortunately for live scoring, it says he's matched up against Christian Ascona now. So I guess that's his next opponent over on 53 and 54. So I did not see who he faced off against that game.
Okay, so we'll get that info. A lot of moving parts up here right now. All right. So that's kind of the deal, Aaron. That's what I'm getting at here. You know, Jason Belmonte looking to make a big run here today over 16 games of match play, and you need to get 100, you know, out of this 8 games. I mean, you don't have to, obviously. You just got it. Just makes it that much harder tonight. But to be, you know, only make up 20 pens so far, I think game 7 and 8 here are going to be pretty telling for Belmo's strategy for tonight, for sure. If he's still 200 out or so, or 175 out going into tonight, he's going to have to go on offense more so than shaping the lanes the right way and hoping for a score. So, you know, it wouldn't shock me if Belmo did something crazy and, you know, made a surface change, went to a polish ball tonight. I know all these things sound nuts and crazy, but sometimes when you're Belmo with that rev rate and the way that you can create power, you know, or throwing it just, you know, Mach 2 with some aggressive asymmetric ball up 5 as hard as you possibly can. I mean, anything you can do to have a big set, and he has yet to be able to do that, just kind of maintaining and pacing here through match play.
And we've seen him pull out all the stops before just to try to make something work. And memorably in 2017 at this event, to start the final round, you know, Belmo liked what he saw on the left side so much that he actually started the block throwing backup. So, you know, we've seen the lengths he will go to attempt to get something going. And it was one of those moments, you know, obviously we've seen that come into play much more in the past couple of years with Anthony Simonson and a few others. But it's, you know, that was one of those moments like, what on earth is he doing? How is he doing this? And you actually believe that he was going to make a run doing it because he's Belmo and he does those things.
Yeah, I'm going to actually run down and check his total so that we can report accurately. I'll be back in just a moment.
All right. Game 7, we're going to take a look here at Jason Sterner and Zeke Bate on 45 and 46. And I saw someone mention it in the chat. And yes, we do have a giveaway to get to today. So we will get to that soon. So keep an eye out for that. We'll mention it 1 or 2 more times.
Yeah, he's at 1179, Aaron.
1179.
Little fun fact, too, I didn't need to get up out of the booth at all. It was actually just a couple pairs to my right. I don't know why I didn't see it.
You got to stay limber, though, during the block. It's the U.S. Open.
So what was he at going into that last game? He was plus what?
1164. So
Okay.
he shot 215. So
And lost.
potentially, I think they've been adding the plus minus a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes people have gone to the score without the bonus pins. So we got some folks in the chat saying he had lost to Jesper. So probably going to just be at the going to stay there at 1179.
Yeah, so you got to imagine still 180 back or so, you know.
And he, like I said, he hasn't really moved up too much, but he hasn't let it get away either this block. So he's cut a little bit into it, but he hasn't let it get a little too far out to where, the pressing has to happen at some point, but he could still have some patience here in trying to just find something big to end the block. All right, Mike, it looks like we have Timmy Mack ready to join us here, so we're going to bring him in.
Yeah,
Tim,
we don't want
hello
to. We don't want to take you away too far
Sure,
from
sure.
what you're doing. I know you're really, really busy, and I see that on the ground here, Aaron. But we're talking about Belmonte specifically. Couple hundred out coming in it today. He's only made up about 20 pins. What's the Belmo report?
You know what? He's bowled actually pretty good. He's been a little bit unfortunate in a couple matches. It feels really good. You know, he said, really, when you're in the position that he's in, it seems like he's been between 230 and 180 pins out each time after each game. You just really want to chip away and give yourself a chance for the 8-game block tonight. So if he can come home, obviously this is a big match now. He's bowling Ascona. If he can bowl a good game here and chop into the deficit, you know, you could never count that guy out. He's won too many times and he's too good to even think about, shut the door on him. So I some guys are making some good runs in our camp today. Chris Fye's right there. Sam Cooley's right there. Jim Callahan is the tour leader of our team, and he's been very positive about the entire experience this week, about the ebb and flows of our team and what we're facing. And Jim and Sean and myself, we made some changes today for our team, and we're giving ourselves some opportunities here with our players.
Is there any insight into those changes that you can give with us, or do you care to keep those private?
I'm going to keep those private because we've got 8 more games to go. So all I know is, we got together as a team last night and tried to make some strategic changes amongst our team to do the best we can. I think that's what makes us go. We're always trying to find a way to put our guys in better position. And there's long hours in the bowl, and we've got to figure out a way to just continue to move forward. And Jim being our leader, he's done a great job at putting those things together for Sean and myself. We got a lot of good ideas that we, when you're swinging from the fences, sometimes you have to think outside the box, and that's exactly what we've done. And we've got a couple guys right in the hunt right now.
So, Timmy, Belmo yesterday was interviewed by Lucas Wiseman, and Belmo made the mention that he was going to use all different bowling balls today. But we saw him use urethane for a while. Has it been urethane the whole day? What's he been using?
Yeah, he's using one of his trusty pitch blacks that he's been very comfortable and confident with. And what Belmo's done is he's gone back to being more of a cerebral bowler this week. In the matches right now, where he's just relying on his touch and feel and his skill set. And he just switched actually to a reactive ball now. So he's got a spare triple here, and he's up in the match against Ascona. So I would anticipate if we can come home here these last couple of matches, lunch is going to taste real good, and we're going to have a chance coming into the night block.
Love to hear it, Timmy. Thanks for your time. I know you're super busy. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, Mikey. See you guys.
Awesome insight there, courtesy of Tim Mack Hall of Famer, Stormball rep. We have a score update. Let's get through that. Buttriff collected his first loss, but continuing to lead the way, plus 617 at the top of the leaderboard. Jason Sterner, second place, plus 1552. Christian Ascona, third, plus 1476. Matthew Sanders, plus 1407 in fourth. And then making the jump here, Michael Davidson, plus 1399, moves into fifth place. So we have a bit of a swing here. Anthony Nyer is going to be first player out, 16 back at plus 1383. Vi plus 1374. Zeke Bate plus 1316. Then Sam Cooley, 161, drops all the way to ninth place. He was in fifth last game, plus 1302. Tommy Jones plus 1230 in 10th. And Belmo with 215 that last game drops to 220 back.
So it's moving in the wrong direction here. And let's face it, we spend a lot of time talking about Belmo for a reason. I mean, there's a reason why you turn on the Masters, unlike this week, though, because Tiger Woods was in that accident. We always want to wish him well wishes anytime something like that happens. Oh, my goodness, thank God he's okay, and hopefully we get to see him play golf again. But I bring the analogy between Tiger Woods and Belmo. We report on Belmo because when you watch the Masters, they always have the leaderboard, and then they have Tiger if he's not in the top five. And Belmo is our Tiger Woods, and we just expect a charge from him, right? Tiger Woods, you always expect a charge from Tiger. And we're expecting that from Belmo today, and we're waiting for it to happen. And you know, we talk about that 200 number. You know, JT said at the top of the show, 200 pins out, you can get there with a block to go. Belmo yesterday in his interview said that he was going to, if he's a couple hundred pins out with one set to go, that's going to make it really hard for him. And we got 2 games to go. We're down to the wire here, and we've covered this about as best as we possibly can. Jason Belmonte is going to need about 500 these last 2, in my opinion, to get him in a spot where he mentally can make a charge and not have to be perfect tonight. Just be really, really good.
And as you wrap that up quite eloquently, Michael, we see him deliver his 5th consecutive strike, a chance to shoot 290 still this game as he takes on Christian Ascona.
JT's back. Do you have anything to add to that, JT? I know that's, you know, watching Belmo and following him, you know, you've done it longer than any of us. You know, how do you assess what Belmo needs to do here?
Well, you know, there's 2 things, and you mentioned the Masters golf tournament. You know, if you're a player in the Masters golf tournament, you look up at the leaderboard, and you need to shoot 30 on the back 9 to have a chance, right? 6 under par. You know, that's doable, but you can't shoot 25 on the back 9. And so Belmo is on about the 7th hole right now. He needs to make a couple of birdies here to finish out the front 9. Otherwise, he's just going to be playing the back 9 for fun. It's just going to be practice. So he needs a couple of big games right here in order to give himself a chance going into tonight. If he doesn't shoot, like you said, 500 and win both of his matches, he's done. So this is pretty dramatic stuff right here. We're basically watching, his ability to continue on to have a chance in this tournament here.
That doesn't put a ribbon and a bow on it. I don't know what would. Thank you, JT, for that. That's exactly right, and that's why we have him up on our camera right here. It's funny, I said 500 and you agree. He might get 90 of it here.
Yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't mind having 590 with a couple of W's.
Wouldn't it be the most Belmo thing just to go like 550 here and just put himself right in the mix after having I'm still the guy's the defending champ. It feels like we always talk about him, but it seems like we just haven't talked about him a bunch this tournament because he hasn't had that moment yet. And it just seems it's got to happen at some point because he wouldn't let it happen. Like, this is what he does. He's always in the conversation.
Yeah, just like
Is
at
it
the
right now?
Masters. Yeah, we thought he was going to miss the cut. He hangs on, and then he loses that first match against Tim Foy, and we stop talking about him, and then we get to the final day, and he's still there. So I mean, that's what great players do. They just find ways to keep going and keep throwing messengers.
Let's go.
And we had Tim Mack on, JT, and you weren't here for us because you give up your chair to be able to bring Timmy in. And he mentioned how Belmo's now in a resin ball. And he's been using touch and using his trusty pitch black his first 6 games and now in a resin ball. And you see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to predict whether he was going to make the show or not, I would have to say no. And it's only because, if he sees this look and he likes this look, how much is he going to want to, switch into that ball as quickly as possible tonight? And is this ball the right choice? Early on in the block. So it's still a tall order for him to make this show. But I'll tell you what, if he doesn't shoot a couple of big games closing out, it's a moot point. He's not going to have a chance. So first order of business, shoot a couple of big games here and then figure out how you want to play him tonight.
But before we get too carried away here, we got Christian Azcona, our tournament leader, coming into today, and he bowled really good down the stretch last night. Well, here he is in this match with Belmo, and he still can win this match. Belmo has not locked up this match, even going at the max score of 290.
Yeah, and I still like his strategy, which is I'm going to throw the urethane. There's going to be some pairs where the gutter hooks. I'm going to get those pairs. This looks like to be one of them. So that one just sends 10 back. And then the pairs that don't, I'm just going to move my eyes left and keep it nice and slow. Maybe leave a few flat 10s and move on with my 220 or 230. So with that double for Christian, he's right back in this match, and Belmo needs a couple of strikes to lock it up. Ooh. Wow. And, that's the problem with reactive on this pattern. Reactive will transition, so after about 5 shots, you're going to have to move. And I don't know if he missed a move there. He seemed to like that shot quite a bit, but urethane doesn't do that. And that's why urethane's been the smart play, because you're not going 5-bagger, 5 out, 5-1. Wow.
I don't understand that at all.
So it's just a perfect illustration of why players are throwing urethane here. It's Belmo made the reactive look awfully good for 8 frames, and then looked like he threw a pretty good shot there in the 9th, and he gets 5. So absolutely has to have this double because Christian can still win this match. Wow. Yeah, there it is. He moved off of it, and now they're cliffed.
2-8 for Belmo. Man, that's just amazing how much that can change.
Well, he's got Christian left of him throwing urethane, so he's pulling oil down this whole game, and Belmo's throwing reactive to the right, so he's burning up the fronts with the reactive while Christian's pulling oil down lane, and so at some point they're going to get cliffed. Wow,
oh, goodness.
See that? That one never hooked. That hit Christian's carry down and never hooked. Now Christian just needs a mark.
Five 1 8-1 to end the game.
Unbelievable swing. Unbelievable swing. We were talking 290. 3 minutes ago.
Well, and that's the equivalent of, hitting it to 5 feet on a par 5 for eagle, and then 4-putting, and turning an eagle into a bogey. And now, I really don't think there's any chance, unless he bowls 300 this last game, for Belmo to get to the show.
What a swing. Wow.
If he ends up making a run tonight and is 30, 40 pins off and doesn't get there, he's going to look back at this game right here as a monumental moment of his 2021 United States Open.
That was a 100-pin swing almost. It was really a 94-pin swing. If he goes off the sheet there, shoots 290, picks up 120 pins. Now he picks up 26. So a 94-pin swing in 2 frames.
Big win for Chris Vi, 279 to 259 over Bill O'Neill. Mentioned Vi had dropped out of the top 5.
My 2 locks for the show bowled each other. Bowled 538.
We'll head back to Sterner and Bates. Kona collects the victory here.
I just got to say, Aaron Smith, when you're on point with your team, sometimes we can get it going pretty good. And I was trying to make that Tiger Woods Belmo comparison, and Jason Thomas came in and absolutely delivered it the perfect way possible. And that analogy of knocking it within 5 feet for eagle and bogey in the hole, that's exactly what happened here.
It's all about setting up your primetime players, Mike. And that's what you did.
And he's not listening right now, but bowling fans, we are extremely blessed to have Jason Thomas working in bowling. I mean, this guy never leaves the bowling center, Aaron. I got to get out of here and go get some food and go do some things, get some fresh air. He will stand in here and just continue to talk to people that walk by and gather more and more information to then deliver to us on the air. He won't leave.
He has been putting in the long hours for sure, making sure the cameras are up and running for the live stream.
But don't feel sorry for him because he wants to do that.
All right, folks. After we wrap up this game, we're going to have our giveaway for this round.
Oh, great.
Another Amazon Fire 7 tablet for one lucky viewer here on Bowl TV. But business not done here yet. Zeke Bate and Jason Sterner. Zeke had the chance to get into the 260s with a double in the 10th. But they spare here. He can max out now at 247. Jason Sterner, who's been in the top 5 all day, can now get to 258.
Don't look now, but I didn't see how Buttriff bowled, but this is a potential lead change.
210 for Jacob that last game.
And was that an L?
I think that was an L.
It was an L to Chris Barnes' 258, so take Jacob. Jacob would be plus 1627. Jason Sterner here.
He actually bowled Foy that game. They've already switched on the live score.
Oh, okay.
But Foy I think Foy got him that game, so just the plus 10 to the he's at 1627 now.
And Sterner can add 88.
88. So he would could get to 1640.
So we're looking at a possible lead change right here on your screen.
Would have to get the second one to do so. Sterner is able to collect the strike. Because 47 and the tie would be just a little short.
Yeah, Jason Sterner with an opportunity to go to the lead in the United States Open in game 47.
What a 2 weeks for Sterner. Fantastic. All right. Spare to tie. Not quite as fun as a strike to claim it.
Huh.
But a spare to tie it.
Well played.
He's going to be right there, folks. 247 tie. He's going to be at 613. Or 1613, excuse me. Buttriff at 1627. What an event. All right, folks. We're going to do it. It's going to be giveaway time. So for the folks watching on bowltv.com, first and foremost, we thank you so much for your support this week. It's been an absolute blast to be able to bring you this action. And as a potential reward for one lucky viewer, we're going to be giving away an Amazon Fire 7 tablet. So you're going to see a prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It'll say a giveaway will begin soon. Watch here to participate. It'll count down. Then you'll see another prompt. The giveaway has begun, and next to it will be a button that says submit entry. All you have to do is click that button. If you're watching in full screen, you might want to take it out for a quick second. Make sure you can see the chat and all that good stuff. But you'll see it right there. So, folks, best of luck as we get into the final game here. One lucky Bowl TV viewer taking home a prize. Let's go. And as we get that underway, who should we be watching this game, guys? Who you want to see?
I'm listening and I'm looking at the moment. I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you, Aaron. Bill O'Neill, Chris Vi.
That sounds nice. What pair?
63 and 64.
63 and 64. Okay. We'll switch over to here for a quick sec. Get a shot Jesper and Zeke. As mentioned, Vi shot 279 last game.
Yeah, and Bill O'Neill's fighting for his life. Trying to stay ahead of that 200 behind number.
All right, looks like we have a winner, Dora. Taking home a tablet. Congratulations, Dora. Our marketing team will be reaching out to you at the conclusion of this event. So expect an email probably early next week so you can collect your prize. Big thanks to everybody for participating.
We began at 10 today. It's 2 hours and 52 minutes of action. So about 3 hours and 15 minutes or so, I would say it takes to complete this round. We've ran as quick as 3 hours, and we've ran as long as 3 hours and 45 minutes, depending on the pattern here at the U.S. Open. I like to keep an eye on pace of play because it kind of helps me understand what a field average might look like. The faster they bowl, I know the scores were higher. The slower they bowl, I know the scores are lower. The other thing that it does, it sets us up for tonight, knowing that at 5 o'clock Pacific, we're going to be on here with the last 8 games, which means around 8:15 or so, we're going to be announcing our top 5 stepladder finalists.
All right, folks. Score update coming your way. After 7 games here this morning/afternoon and 47 games total here at the 2021 U.S. Open, Jacob Buttriff continues to lead, plus 16-27, just 13 pins ahead of Jason Sterner at plus 16-14. So Sterner within 13 pins. Christian Ascona, who started the day with the lead, holding on to third place, plus 15-39. Chris Vi making the jump after 279 last game into fourth place, plus 14-83. Michael Davidson currently holding the last spot on the show at plus 14-36. 1 pin ahead of Matt Sanders, who's at plus 14-35. Zeke Bate with that 247 tie last matchup moves into 7th place. He is at plus 1378. 2 pins ahead of Sam Cooley, who's at 1376. Anthony Nyer still hanging around, plus 1365. And in 10th place, we're watching him now, 2-5 on the day, Bill O'Neill at plus 1313. Tommy Jones, 11th, 199 back of the show at plus 1237. And then Belmo in 12th. We saw the roller coaster that last game went on. 231 out of the show at plus 1205.
Yeah, Aaron, Tommy Jones in a similar situation here. He's 199 back. He's over on lanes 43 and 44. He's taking on Brent Boho, and he started with the first 4. So if Tommy could bowl 279 or better here and get 30 bonus pins, that would give him 100. Fields getting about 30. That would knock him to about 120 off the show going into tonight, I believe, just an estimation. Still a chance. You're telling me there's a chance,
Well, Mike, you kicked off the show with when you broke down your 3 types of bowlers. You talked about the Hall of Famers always finding a way in that situation, and Tommy has done just that.
Yeah, I really thought the last game we were going to see it from Belmo, though, so it can change in a hurry. But, Tommy Jones using I need to confirm this, but last time I checked, he was using urethane. I'm about to see what he's using right now just to confirm that. My angle is hidden, so yep, he's still in urethane, throwing the purple ball. He gassed that one and leaves the 245, so 277 is the best he can do this game through 5 trains here. JT and Aaron, I'm going to ask you guys to take this one home for us. I am going to go get some shots of Jason Sterner and do an interview with Sterner since he's had such a nice block here and get that put out on social media. It's been a pleasure spending time with you guys for sure. And I can also try to get Sterner to come up into the booth for a little interview as well. Okay, excellent, guys.
Sounds good, Mike. Thank you so much. Mike Flanagan, everybody, Inside Bowling, has been doing just one heck of a job this week. Big thanks to Mike for all the work, all the long hours. JT, I know you said you asked someone, or someone asked you. There we go. Predictions for the show, predictions on who's going to win, and this block has proved to be just as wacky as we could hope. I'm sure the players don't enjoy the wackiness as much as we do, but this has just been that top 10 has just had so many up and down moments. Outside of Jacob kind of holding it down in the 1-2 spot. It's been pretty fun to watch the players jump back and forth on the leaderboard throughout the course of 7 games and now into 8.
Yeah, I mean, when you finally pinned me down on having to predict something, I did feel like the top 3 starting the day were in good shape, and they're still the top 3. They're in different order, but they are the 3 to beat clearly. But there are a number of players who still have a chance coming up here tonight, including Bill O'Neill, who we're watching now. Tommy Jones, if he can continue bowling well this game, he has a possible 277. He'll give himself a chance. Belmo, an outside chance if he can hang on and win this match against Sam Cooley. He'll be in the 230s if he can go off the sheet. But it's going to be Mario Kart tonight, like it always is. Guys knocking each other off with the red shells, and the big bumblebee coming out and exploding, and it's going to be pretty crazy. And don't underestimate the pressure of the U.S. Open on some of these players that haven't been there before. It's going to be fun watching Anthony Nyer come down the stretch. It's going to be fun watching Matt Sanders come down the stretch. Zeke Bate, who just seems loose as a goose. How will he react when he needs 240 to make the U.S. Open TV show? It'll be fun to watch that. But then you've got Jacob Buttriff, who's been there before. He's led this tournament by hundreds of pins. He's on a mission to win it and erase those 2 very, very disappointing defeats that he's had in this event in the past. Jason Sterner, who everybody kind of left, in no man's land because his thumb looked so bad going into this event, he could still win. Christian Escona, I think he's had the best strategy and the best look, on this pattern 4. So you got to give him a great chance. And Chris Vi just seems to make every major show. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching here this evening to find out who's going to make it to our FS1 show on Sunday.
And folks, just a reminder, we will have a pregame and a postgame show as well around that show, live on FS1 at 2 p.m. Eastern. So about an hour before that, we'll be live here on Bowl TV. It is a login only event, so be sure to tell your friends to check it out as well. If you watched it for the Masters, we had a good time. We got to talk to a couple of the players. I got to see the set, our predictions for the show, and from what we had seen throughout the course of the week. So we'll go and do that all again, and then afterwards, have the same opportunity, talk to the champion to wrap up our 2-week run here on Bowl TV for the USBC Masters and the U.S. Open back-to-back majors on the PBA Tour schedule, all coming to a close here. It's been fun to bring the best bowlers in the world to you on Bowl TV, and we're not going to stop here. The PWBA Tour is going to start up once again April 22nd, just less than 2 weeks. Holy cow. Less than 2 weeks. We'll be in Eagan, Minnesota for the Twin Cities Open. As we continue on with the 2021 season, 20 events total, 3 already in the books from the Kickoff Classic. And folks, a final plea, a final reminder, the $49.95, 1 year, $49.95 for Bowl TV. That ends tonight. So your final opportunities are just hours away. So if you got friends who are interested in Bowl TV, if you got an event ticket, if you got a monthly ticket, this is the time to check it out. Full access to the site. A year's worth, $49.95. And JT, we watched the roller coaster that Belmo put us through last game, and he's going to walk away with essentially a subpar game. 2-0 at most. More than likely going to take a loss. This looks like the 20 and 21 season will be majorless for Jason Belmonte.
Yeah, if he did, it would be, an all-time great comeback. But I just think there's too many players in front of him. Not just to mention the number of pins he's going to be back now. He's going to probably be back somewhere close to 300 off the show, and there's going to be a bunch of players between him and that fifth. And I think his run to repeat as the U.S. Open champion's going to be coming to an end.
Mike talked about Tommy Jones. He does have 8 of the first 9 right now on 43 and 44. Going to collect the win. A big chance to gain 107 pins, though, if he's able to throw 3 more in the 10th. And for Chris Vi here, this has been a great matchup with Bill O'Neill. O'Neill can max out at 246. Vi stepping up first here in the 10th. Max at 250, a double and good count will give him the win. Moved into the top 5, just shooting 279 last game. And says, whoo, on that one. One more and good count. He locks up another victory for Vi. 5 and 2 in the block so far. But the 4-pin will give O'Neill a chance. Bill just 2 and 5. Started 0 and 5, has won his last 2 with 221 and 259. Gonna need a double. 239. Vi is in the books. Tommy Jones finishes with 276. O'Neill needs this one. No. Ring 10 is going to give Vi the win. He's going to go 6 and 2. in round 2. Swag for days. Zeke Bate. It's cool when I say something cool like that, and then he throws a strike. That worked out nicely. Zeke's going to take the win here.
Oh, I can't take it. I'm sorry.
We'll head over to Sterner and Zach Tackett over on 51 and 52 after Jesper's shot here. Sterner slowing down a little bit here. Max of 215. Getting ready for the 9th frame. Pretty close matchup against Tackett.
Yeah, I think this is a big 10th frame here for him. You know, you want to go into lunch not giving pins away. And, you know, fortunately for him, Zach has struggled a bit this game.
Zach working on a strike in the 8th frame, though. Can't step up here, throw the next 4, take the win. 222 still out there. Heck of a 2 weeks for Zach Tackett. A little bit farther back here now, but just phenomenal showing for Zach. Great to see him put up some big performances at the Masters and now here at the U.S. Open. Had a 300 at the PTQ for the U.S. Open way back last Sunday.
Well, he's going to need a double here to shut out Sterner.
The messenger makes it 1.
I wonder if him and his brother EJ had messenger contests growing up, so you could throw the biggest one.
Not gonna lie, that'd probably be fun to watch. Would enjoy the opportunity.
All right, it's going to need one more to shut out Jason Sterner. Otherwise, Jason will have a chance to get up and throw a couple strikes and sneak this one out.
Oh. Come on, pins.
Well, couldn't get the messenger this time, and even if he did, there still was the 7-pin on the deck, so Zach will be in the 2-0s, and that's going to force Jason Sterner to get a double and good count to win this last match.
Buttriff ended up losing the last game with 237.
Well,
and he's going to hold on to the lead.
Yeah, Jason can't shake the 7-pin out, so he's going to go into lunch with a game in the 190s, lose a few pins. give some players chasing a little bit more hope. But he still is in great position to make this show with just 8 games left to go here at the 2021 U.S. Open.
Zach Tackett will take the win here as we wrap up match play round number 2, 209 to 193. And boy, what an event so far. Jason Thomas will bring it back into our respective studios. Woo! We get 8 more games of this.
It's just getting good. I mean, it's been one of the most unpredictable U.S. Opens I can remember. I said at the top of the show, somebody asked me who I thought was going to win. I had no idea. I didn't even know if I could name one person who I thought was going to make the show. But we had an incredible round of action here today. Jacob Buttriff took the tournament back in his hands. He's going to be the leader with 8 more games left to go. Can he knock the monkey off his back after those 2 devastating second place finishes after leading by over 500 pins 2 years in a row? He would love to do that. Christian Azcona has been bowling great all week. I think he's got the best look on the right, the most consistent strategy. He's right there. Chris Vai made a run here today, trying to make yet another major show. Jason Sterner, who we're going to get to talk to in a second, he's been just steady all week and has bowled fantastic. And can he hang on with that bad thumb for 8 more games and make a second consecutive major show? Or will somebody who's currently trailing a little bit find some magic here tonight and pull off a run to make the U.S. Open show? I don't know, Aaron. You're just going to have to tune in tonight to find out here on Bull TV.
That is correct. 8 p.m. Eastern will be the time. BullTV.com, the same channel to check it out. And yeah, we'll be breaking it down just like this throughout the course of it. We'll be running the numbers, refreshing the heck out of the results page as we're coming down the stretch. It's madness. It's the U.S. Open. This is what it's all about. And we've had such an amazing 2 weeks essentially in Reno now at the National Bowling Stadium. Hard to believe we're down to the final squad of bowling here on Bull TV before we hand it off to FS1 and Randy Peterson, Rob Stone, and Kimberly Pressler. It's just been phenomenal.
Yeah. The TV show's all ready to go, but the only thing left is which characters are going to be making it out to the big stage, and it's going to be fun to watch here tonight. It looks like Jason Sterner's ready for a little quick interview. All
right, let's bring him in. Jason, hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Well, a lot. I will tell you, I don't know if you heard this, but we did have a little fantasy draft at the beginning of the week, and normally, based on your performance at the Masters, you would have been one of the first picks, but nobody picked you because of this.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, how you doing? It seems like you're doing pretty well, but how's it holding up? And what do you have to do tonight to make it into your second consecutive major finals?
So yeah, it doesn't quite look like that anymore. I've got it completely covered, but the biggest thing was I talked to my buddy Scotty Newell. He gave me some tips on how to nurse it back to health a little bit quicker. Got some vitamin E oil, cut open some gel caps, let it soak overnight, wrapped it up, just kind of sealed it. And I've been doing that every day. As soon as bowling's done, I go straight to that. Neosporin on the fingers. And it's actually been a miracle worker for sure. I mean, it definitely cut the recovery time down, I would say, by a few days. And, obviously striking this week has made it a little easier. I think the spare shots were really pulling on the back of the thumb there. So been fortunate to be able to strike a little bit more, and it's given it time to heal. But, the plan is still the same. The picture looks the same. I just keep doing the bowl U stuff and playing with the rev rate speed, whatever I got to do to stay in that zone and control the pocket. And, pins are just going my way as of right now.
Yeah, it feels like out there right now, Jason, the players who have the simplest strategy in terms of going pair to pair are the ones that are having the most success. And it feels like some of the pairs, the gutter's hooking, some of them it's not. How are you attacking that? And are you just basically on the pairs that the ball's not hooking on the gutter, just telling yourself keep your eyes left and try to get 230 and get off the pair?
Well, I've been, following the book that they gave us this week on the topography. So that's definitely helping on some of those pairs. There were a few today where I fought it. I'm shooting like a couple 190s there, but, looking around, it's just up and down for the guys. And, if I can shoot 190 and then follow it up with 270, I'm not trying to stress out. So just get as much as I can on those pairs. I try to trick it a little if I can with loft or, just shallowing the angle out. But other than that, I just get off that pair and get as much as I can on the next pair and, just keep winning matches. That's important as well. There's a few I let slip away, but, I'm getting some help along the way. So, that definitely does me a lot of favors.
Well, Jason, we'll let you rest that thumb up and rest up for this final round. 8 games left to go. Best of luck to you. It's been so fun to watch you all week and last week as well in Reno. So best of luck in these final 8. And we hope to see you on the show again.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Good luck, Jason.
All right, folks. Jason Sterner giving us the quick recap. 8 games left to go for him to see if he can make back-to-back shows in major championships here. Just phenomenal to be in that position. And we got to see the thumb. And yeah, that was we all stayed away from Mr. Sterner because of that. And now we're all looking foolish because of it.
Well, it doesn't take much for us to look foolish, but
Fair
I mean,
point.
yeah, I mean, he is. And that's, we're going to have to, he's going to have to write a book on how to nurse a thumb back to health. It'll be a bestseller in the bowling business. I mean, it's amazing that, you go into the most grueling tournament of the year with a hand that looks like that. And here he is right there contending, for the top spot. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch him bowl tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch all of them. Jacob Buttriff, can he hang on and lead the U.S. Open again for the 3rd time in 5 years? And can he win this time? Can Christian Ascona hang on to make the show at the U.S. Open? And he's a PBA champion, but this would obviously be the biggest win of his career. Jason Sterner as well. He made the show at the Masters. We've seen him come up short in the U.S. Open in years past. He's a really great grinder, but can he validate his career by winning the U.S. Open here this week? And who else will make the show with him? There's just a lot left to be determined here at the 2021 U.S. Open.
And folks, the place to watch it tonight, you get a couple hours off. 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on BowlTV.com. The final round of match play. We'll get down to the top 5 players tonight. So you do not want to miss it. Clear your schedule, the calendar. It's Saturday night, date night here on BowlTV. Make that work if you can. But everybody, come join us, watch. It's going to be amazing. So we hope to see you. So for the folks who joined us today, Tony Franklin coming in for a little bit. Spencer Robarge stopping by as well. Very awesome. Jason Sterner at the end of the block. For Matt Canzaro, Mike Flanagan, Jason Thomas, I'm Aaron Smith. Thanks again for watching us here on Bowl TV, folks. And we'll be back with the U.S. Open, the final round, 8 p.m. Eastern the time. So we will see you then here on Bowl TV. And folks, remember, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you tonight.